Greetings, humanity. Happy New Year. It is 2019, and quite suddenly we're doing a Western-themed Pulp Cthulhu game. This was something that I was not expecting to do a couple of days ago, but it sort of Dee said, "Hey, want to stream Western Pulp Cthulhu on your channel on New Year's Day?" And I said, "But yeah, sure, why not?" And it is happening. As this is, I am actually, as this is rather impromptu, I do not have my my normal script type copy type stuff in front of me, so I'm going to just go around and wing the various things. Let's see. I'm Jim, and I go by he, him pronouns, and this is my channel, and we'll go around. We will introduce folks, say who they are playing. Today I'm going to be playing a miner named Clayton Howard. We'll go around and see who everyone else is playing. And we will start with Lord Conti. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing? Alright. I'm Lord Conti. You can call me Lord, you can call me Conti, you can call me Lord Conti, you can call me Cody. I'll be playing Richard Ashcroft, a odd man in town. His work carries him across the country, and he's only here about half the time.
Excellent. And let's continue around to Eddie. Hello.
Hello. So, I'm going to be playing Clarence Williams today, a male escort, the potentially a face of the group. Came across the country to find a new life from the sweet state of Virginia, where he fought brother against brother in a war, and does not want to think about it too much.
Excellent. And then let's move on to Hawkeye.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, time zone wise on this island Earth. I'm Kentucky Hawkeye, KY Hawkeye, and I go by he, him, and my character is going to be Andres Ribaldo, or as he's known on stage and in high society circles as the Great Ribaldo. Magician and mystic extraordinaire. I am currently out here west because one of the things I do to supplement my income as a magician and mystic is there are times when those, especially that are heavy with coin in their pocket, need cures for their chronic or deadly diseases and all that. And I happen to be able to create these magical crystals that will help cure them of their ills and all that. And I am out of supplies, so I heard that I might be able to find a supply of crystal out here. So I am here gathering supplies before heading back east.
Excellent.
Or perhaps even further west, from what I hear that people may be have good gathering of coin out there.
Well, they are looking for guidance, if nothing else, so that's surely something to do. As far as just any other tiny character details for me, Clayton has been out in the mining game, prospecting game for over 30 years out here. So going back between here and California and other places, just wherever it's available. It's not been so great for his personal life, but aside from that, he seems to do what he wants to do. And I'm now going to hand things over to our keeper to talk about the scenario and let us know what we're doing. So, hello, Dee.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, Jim, for letting us run this game. Hey, Katie. We are going to be playing some Western Pulp Cthulhu. If you guys caught Unmade Gaming's charity stream in November, I ran the prequel to this with some friends. And now it's a couple months later, October 1870. The war's been over for a few years now. 5. Reconstruction has officially ended with Georgia being reintroduced back into the Union. It is now, but this is not the still difficult East. This is the West. This is Four Corners, New Mexico territory. Small town, literally in the Four Corners area of New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and Arizona. Map that I don't have in front of me, but I did. It's good. And we have our 4 intrepid gentlemen of the day. We're
And
gonna
night.
start and night. Always the day and the night. Or anytime at all that he pleases.
It's true.
We have, but we're gonna start things off where all good westerns should start off, in a bar, in a saloon. It's October in Nevada and New Mexico, so it's hot. It's not as hot as it was a couple months ago, but it's still hot and dry. People are sitting inside waiting for the sun to kind of crest over, let that afternoon start to cool off a little before they do anything major. The last coach hasn't been by and left about a week ago, won't be back for another couple weeks. Not really much of anything going on around here. The rumor is that the circuit priest might be coming through and doing a service in a couple days, but, people have been saying that for weeks now. What are y'all doing in this bar? Why don't we start with you, Eddie?
Oh boy. Well, let's see. I'd probably have found myself in a corner somewhere. No, actually, you know what? I'd probably be dead center to looking at the entrance and just kind of eyeing any prospects of potential clientele for the later evening, while enjoying myself a little whiskey, as I do. And after the war, there's a lot to forget. So I end up in the bar quite often.
Is it good whiskey or rat gut?
Well, I've done pretty well for myself, but not enough to enjoy the finer whiskeys on the regular. So I tend to be frugal and enjoy just the common whiskey.
So not quite rat gut, but not the good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Alrighty, then let's pan over to our dear Mr. Ashcroft. What are you doing today in this bar?
He's probably sitting at the bar alone because whenever he comes in, people have a tendency to move away from it. They don't know why. Maybe it's the way he holds himself. Maybe it's the look in his eye, but they don't like to be near him. And he's having himself a good old bourbon.
Alright. And the great Ribaldo, what has drawn your attention to this saloon of the day?
Well, since it is the heat of the day, and there's nothing else to do in this literal one-horse town, I am sitting at a table looking over some sketches, perhaps some maps on where I've told I might be able to find some crystalline stuff, or possibly even gemstone or geode-like formations and all that, while I enjoy a fine wine, or at least as fine a wine as I can get out here in a place like this.
Okay. Vitally important question. Red or white?
Unfortunately, the white, I've tried the white here before, but I decided I don't like the taste of vinegar, so I'm drinking the red instead.
A wise choice, Mr. Williams, sir, how have you been doing this fine day?
Oh, me? Sorry. Well, I've already said a little bit that I'm enjoying myself some whiskey, but then you'll notice that in his lap he's actually holding on to an Edgar Allan Poe novel, and at the time you can't quite see the title.
All right. And, Mr. Howard, how are you doing with your life today?
Well, I expect that when I'm in town, I'm probably a regular here. So it's, I'm probably just sort of sitting in a corner at a table, chatting with folks, and drinking shots of something. I've probably, what time of day is it?
It's probably about 2 o'clock, almost 3. afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, so what this means is this is during one of those breaks between times that I go off into the hills. Do we have hills around here?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yes, there are. There are hills.
and mesas.
Yeah.
There are hills. There are hills, and there are, there's even a river,
Oh,
according
yes, I
to the
see.
map that I made.
Yeah. I'm pretty much right now just sort of jawing with folks and doing shots with them and just kind of laughing and joking around right now, since this is when I get to rest during that few days or so when I come into town to drop off any silver I've managed to mine and kind of get things together and resupply and let the donkey rest, that kind of thing.
Rest for you and the mule.
Yes, and the mule. Yes, that's correct.
Why,
Mr. Howard, have you been to the assayer's office at all yet today, or in the past couple of days, or not?
That's probably where I went first.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Because I've probably, during early parts of the day, been hanging around there to try to see who's been out mining so I can get some tips on where I might be able to find my stuff. So I'll do that later.
Yep. We'll get on that.
Do you all know each other, or you just the first time you've all seen each other in this bar?
I've probably encountered the Great Ribaldo before, at the very least. As entertainers tend to float in similar circles.
Yeah. I recognize you from being in the audience at some of my performances several times. So the face is I don't have a name, but the face is uncannily familiar.
I occasionally give you a wink from the audience.
Anyone who's been in town for any period of time has probably seen me around from time to time.
Okay. Well, Mr. Howard is doing, Mr. Williams is doing well, Mr. Ribaldo is doing well. Life is going well in this great corner of the West. There's not a lot going on.
Better than the East.
Better than the East, at least as things are going. I mean, there's always rumor that they're bringing the Iron Horse on out here, that there might be time for the locomotive and the train actually to drive by. But we're not quite sure about that. What you do hear is suddenly you have a couple. There we go. Old church bells ringing through.
Strangely getting louder.
Oddly so. The saloon around you begins to go quiet.
How many times are they ringing, or is it a constant?
They're just ringing right now. You haven't actually stopped to count them. You'd expect about 3 or 4 based on the hour, but...
Or isn't it the custom at 7 times if someone dies?
For a
It's been
funeral?
over 7. It's been over 7.
So it's not that.
I mean, Clarence would be disturbed by this.
I'd originally gotten up to walk over towards Mr. Howard to try to see where he's been, but when these bells keep on going, I walk over towards the doors to look outside to see if I can see anything happening.
Clarence would probably follow suit with the Great Ribaldo.
Mr. Ashcroft could care less, and he takes another sip of his bourbon.
I'm just mostly still after, while it's still tolling, I'm just sort of looking around at the other folks at the table. I say, "Yeah, well, ain't that a thing? I thought they weren't going to get a preacher back in here for some time, but it looks like there's a little bit more activity going on than we were expecting. They don't normally do services this time, right? It's usually around noon, ain't it? Ain't that just a very strange thing? Can't keep to the schedule, can they? But well, they got to do what they got to do to make things work, especially if you got the Iron Horses coming in soon." etc., etc.
Yes, but even for a revival meeting, it wouldn't be going on this early in the day.
It's ringing quite a lot. I'm not sure what they're trying to signal here, but it doesn't seem normal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You begin to notice a couple of the other folk who've been kind of standing around the bar looking, start marking their way towards the church at the top of the hill. It's like any boom town. It's 2 roads, one in and out, one going through. There's only one church in town.
And it's up on a hill?
Well, for a given value of hill.
A lift.
It's on a rise.
Okay,
Somebody wanted that church to look like it was on a hill.
So, as I look out the door, what activity do I see out on the street?
If you look out the door, why don't you go ahead and roll me that spot hidden? Let's see what you actually do see.
But
the first roll.
And the first roll of the new year is an extreme success.
Nice.
We'll take that extreme success. You do notice a lot going on, even with all the people mooling about, wandering around the streets. You see a bunch of the ladies of the town working their way from the general store, or, a couple of the nice restaurant in town. You do see a couple of the other ladies who might work in the same general vicinity as Mr. Williams, kind of putting on a different shawl and changing things up. There's a carriage in front of the chapel, and there are 2 figures that look like, well, what you think a priest would look like. I mean, it's New Mexico and there are a large number of Catholics around, but usually you don't get that many Catholic priests in Four Corners. Get a couple preachers coming through, but no, these are actually like Roman Catholic priests, full regalia, and they're doing something with the church.
I would say that Clarence would look to the Great Ribaldo and say, "Have you seen these kind of priesters? I haven't."
Not here locally. It's been more of a case. I've seen them in my short time here. I've seen some travel through on coaches, but mostly just on their way passing through to go out further west. I've not seen any stick around, as they say. I didn't think there was enough of a devout population, at least of the Catholic variety, to justify having one here, let alone 2. But I may be mistaken.
I'm gonna look at him and say, I'll be right back, and I'm gonna head to wherever I'm living. I didn't actually figure that out.
I was assuming that you were working for the wonderful Lady Goodnight.
Okay.
Lady Pearl Goodnight and her dear companion June.
Perfect. Well, I will head to their place of business and acquire my trusty rifle that I brought with me from the east. Just as a precaution. There's something strange about this. That's maybe given giving Clarence a bit of a bad vibe.
Are you gonna try and be stealthy about bringing a gun to church? Well, let me rephrase that: about bringing a big gun to church.
He'll have a second thought, and he'll think maybe I'll bring my short barrel scattergun instead. Something I can tuck away a little bit more.
Strap it to your thigh or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So
something that your fine coat might hide.
Exactly.
A little bit easier, rather than people might talk.
I am a tall, lengthy man that's quite handsome, so they often overlook what's on my body and instead look at my beautiful face.
I could believe that. I honestly can. So many do. A charming face will hide a multitude of sins, as they used to say.
Oh boy.
Ribaldo will start slowly working his way towards the chapel, more out of curiosity than anything else, because he doesn't recall, not being native here, he doesn't recall this kind of activity before.
Hmm.
Mm.
Then our dear Miner and our dear Mr. Ashcroft, what are you going to be doing up? Staying or going?
I got a bottle of fine bourbon right here.
How many?
And I ain't much of a religious man, so.
Not really paying the church much mind unless it's literally everybody that's getting up and leaving.
I mean, there are a couple drunks in the corner who are still around, and there are a couple other guys that you begin to notice aren't moving, but are kind of giving you a look.
Oh.
And so it just basically would look up, hey, everything all right, friend?
You would see a couple of guys sitting at a corner table. You're kind of familiar with them. They're, local ranch hands for one of the big ranch owners in the area. And they're just staring at you, going, "Ain't you going to church?"
And they're still sitting there?
A couple of them seem to be getting up, but one of them's just kind of standing with his hand rested, one hand on the table, but it's not his right hand.
Interesting. I say, well, I ain't never been much of a religious man, but I suppose that if everybody's going, is there something big going on you want to talk about?
I always go to church when I hear the bells ring. And he gets up and starts.
What day of the week is this? I take it it's not
Very good.
Sunday?
Nope. It is currently the 15th of October. It is a Tuesday.
Oh.
I shrug and I say, well, may as well see what's going on up there. Maybe the Vatican's out or something.
Quite sure the Vatican coming to town would be a very interesting proposition at this point.
I mean, that'd be the main reason they'd leave those bells ringing for so damn long. And that hunchback must be real tired.
Very true.
I just go on. I'll slowly start moseying toward the.
You'd know that these are a bunch of just local ranch hands. They work for one of the big ranchers in the area. They start working almost kind of as if they're clearing the room, sweeping. Mr. Ashcroft, you did remind me, Mr. Ashcroft, did you serve in the war?
No.
So you would not recognize this, but other people might. Of a very almost military precision of a platoon splitting and across the whole room, breadth of the room, kind of encouraging people out. Bars closed. And you see a gentleman kind of approach you, resting one hand on his hip, but not doing much else.
Look at the bartender. Bar closed.
Bartender's not there.
I'll put money on the table. Well, on the bar. Grab my bowler from the bar. Put it on. Grab the bottle of bourbon. Finish off my glass. Leave the glass there. Take the bottle of bourbon with me. Going home.
Well, that's a decision you could make. And they continue on, encouraging people. You notice that a couple other of these ranch hands might be in the streets, but they're, it's a day. Everything. You see a bunch of these guys. They all look the same. All run the cattle all along the up into Oklahoma, into the slaughterhouses there. But hey, most of the time these guys aren't that big a problem. They're just a little rowdy when they get a little drunk. As the three of you, with Mr. Ashcroft not attending service today, begin to approach the church, you notice that it almost seems like almost everybody's in town is here, And you notice that the two priests that you saw are standing flanking the two doors, and their regalia seems oddly elaborate. And you can just make out, as this is not this is an old-fashioned church, and there is a bell, but the steeple is tied with the bell pull kind of just inside the door of the vestibule to the left-hand side. You see another younger gentleman in white vestments with a red and blue red collar pulling the bell. Much younger but seems to still be attached.
Now, in seeing these gentlemen, does their garb look Catholic, or does it look more Anglican or Jesuit, or does it look like it doesn't really fit anything that I would have seen in my vast travels?
Why don't you go ahead and roll either history or... I think history would probably... I think history would be the best one here. Unless you have some other skill that you think would work better.
Not really.
Ooh, sorry. They look like priests.
Okay.
They look like a priest, I mean, they all, they're not like some Baptist preacher man. They're not wearing high fancy suits. They're definitely wearing black robes with long vestments over them. They're white and gold embroidery. They're
more of a Catholic
ornate.
Orthodox look rather than Protestant look.
Definitely not a Baptist. Couldn't quite tell if the difference if they're an Anglican or a Catholic. I mean, couldn't quite tell.
Okay.
Would I be able to, as I'm walking up with these two gentlemen, would I be able to tell the demeanor of these priests? Like, do they seem somber? Do they seem like what is like their intent? I guess, like, kind of just the general intent.
So that sounds like you want a psychology roll.
Yeah, something like that. Understand them.
Yes, you want that psychology, don't you? Go ahead and roll that.
All right.
Ooh, hard success. Very good. On a hard success, you can definitely see that they're very calm about how they're working with this. They're greeting people as they come in. They don't seem to be known to most of the people in town, but they definitely seem to be, well, for lack of a better term, a parish priest greeting a new parish priest greeting the congregation. You see a lot of, taking a second to stop and talk to the old ladies in town and, how are you doing? Oh, isn't, so sorry that we haven't been by in a while. We're staying through now and and taking their time to be congenial towards the congregation as they approach.
So it seems relatively normal, like what I've seen in the churches at home and everything.
Yeah, I mean, their approach definitely seems normal. They seem like a standard priest.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll me that spot hidden, though, with that hard success.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Not very good at that.
As you look around, it just looks like everything is a normal everyday. Well, something's a little odd, but you're not quite sure what. And maybe it's just the priest. That's why you brought your scattergun to church. Which, by the way, there's this one little old lady with a black hat who's just giving you the look.
It's hidden. It's, it
doesn't matter. She still knows. She knows everybody who's ever come to church, and she's giving you that look of like...
That's true. I don't come to church very often.
There's something wrong with you. But no, she's not concerned. She's just giving you, as we say in Sicilian, the moloik.
That's good because mine probably isn't concealed. It's just sort of hanging there.
I mean, most folk are carrying at least a revolver. The other gentleman brought the scattergun.
Yeah, mine's in a kind of a shoulder holster inside my jacket.
It's a thing.
I have a basically a sawed off at my hip, pretty much. I carry pretty much everywhere because flame jumpers.
Oh yeah, you gotta be ready for flame jumpers.
Exactly.
True.
Always do. You definitely get a couple looks from some of the older ladies of the church. A couple of whispers like, "I can't believe you would do that."
I just smile and
he's not-
wave.
I know he's not all there all the time. Hi, honey, welcome in. Why don't you come have a seat with us? He's really not all there all the time. It's really such a thing. As they continue on, but we have by this time most of the town has filtered into the church, and you begin to see even those ranch hands that were clearing the bar start to kind of filter in and stand round the back. Anyone want to roll me that spot hidden?
Well, what works once will work twice. Shall I try it again?
Mm-hmm.
All right, give me a second here. Not quite so good this time.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. They just kind of seem to be standing there. It's a little odd. You know most of these guys to be drunks and, well, you think they may have heard of church, but you never seen them inside the doors before.
Mm.
You do see and Mr. Ashcroft would see a couple people beginning to, couple of those ranch hands kind of almost as the last of the townsfolk come in and the last of the priests kind of come in behind the door. You see a couple of the ranch hands kind of milling out in front of the door. Are you doing anything in particular to Mr. Ashcroft?
Yep, I'm going into my house.
Mm-hmm. So give us a little favor. Could you ping your house, Uncle, if this is the church and this is the bar? Where is your house from there, Mr. Ashcroft? On that map. This is the bar.
Right about there.
Okay, so a little on the other side of town.
Yeah.
All right.
On the edge of town, just a small townhouse. Nothing special.
Yep.
And the church is at the top there, yeah? Ah, there it is. Yeah, I see the steeple.
Yeah. My very, very...
Oh, here we go.
My very, 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 artistic rendering of things.
I love it.
As my botany professor used to say, very highly diagrammatic.
Yeah, that too.
They actually show what people are talking, what we're talking about here. So I can switch that over. There we go. Yay.
By the way,
Matt.
I want to give a massive, massive hand to Jim because he did all of this in 2 days, and I could really do that. Yay.
I haven't slept at all.
I should make that bigger. Wait.
Sleep beneath that.
Does
No
that...
wonder you do that crazy prospector so well.
All right. Did that zoom for you guys in chat? Kind of. No, not really.
Yeah,
Well,
if you need me to zoom in, I can zoom in on something.
I think we should just zoom in because all you can see in chat right now is the roads.
Okay. Where which bit you want me to get?
No, just kind of zoom in general because you can't see that there are any buildings there.
Oh, okay. Buildings, yes. Oh, buildings help. Yes, okay. Let's,
I mean, there are buildings.
have
I put
those.
buildings. I think.
I'm
kind
quite
of.
sure there are buildings. I'm pretty certain they must exist. This here?
Okay. Yes.
Thereabouts?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. People can see things now. Yay. Okay. Moving on. Wow. Hey y'all, Happy New Year.
We're here to have some fun.
Thank you, Jim, again for all of your help and wonderfulness in putting this together.
Oh, no problem.
So we've got our excuse me. We've got Mr. Ashcroft looking around. Mr. Ashcroft, why don't you roll me a spot hidden as you approach the door of your house?
That's the green button.
Yes, press the green button.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you're quite sure that everything's normal, walking your way back to the house, ignoring whatever the hell's going on. And unfortunately for you, as you go to walk into your door, there is a gentleman standing at your door with a gun in your face. It's time to go to church, my friend.
I hold up my bottle of bourbon. I don't think this is allowed in church.
I can help you relieve yourself of that.
I don't
but it's
need
time
your
to go
help.
to church.
I don't need your help, and I think you might want to mind your own business.
He cocks the hammer. Kinda is my business at this point, honey. It's time to go to church.
I suggest you move so I can put my liquor up. You want me to roll intimidate?
Go ahead and try.
I have the scary trait, so do I get a bonus dice or?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. So what? Just go ahead and do it with advantage, because rolling the bonus dice sometimes on roll 20 gets really awkward. Ooh.
Dice hate me this year.
Yeah, they do. Well, it's slightly better. Unfortunately for you, you know this gentleman is one Mr. Silas Farley. He is slightly curmudgeonly, and the last time you saw him, he did draw down on a man who wouldn't move his horse out of his way as he was crossing the street. He just kind of looks at you, raises an eyebrow, gestures with the gun, and instead of taking it from your face and starts moving it slightly further south. Time to go to church, my friend.
I got a table right inside my door. Let me just put the drink down. I'm not bringing liquor into the house of the Lord.
You can leave it right there. Let's go.
Wait, he wants me to put it on the ground?
Yeah. He's no fool. He's not let you inside your house where you probably have a gun behind the door that we should with.
I have a gun on my hip.
I know. His is drawn though.
And plus my rifle's put up, so.
Yeah, exactly. What's your choice going to be?
I'll step a couple steps back. Just so he knows I'm not threatening him. If you look in that window, you see there is a table right by the door. Wouldn't even take me 2 seconds.
He just looks at you, waiting.
All right, I go up to the windowsill. Put the alcohol down.
Okay.
Like I said, I ain't bringing my alcohol into the house of the Lord.
All right. Let's go to church. He waits for you to turn and walk towards the church as he gestures with the gun.
Now I'll start heading towards church.
As you do, you notice a couple other folk kind of being gently encouraged to attend services this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Even a couple folk that you're pretty sure aren't Christian by any form of denomination. A couple folk that you're really sure may not have ever seen the inside of a church before. A couple drunks that are kind of being lovingly assisted into the church. And as you do go back inside, at this point, as you're the last one in, Mr. Ashcroft, would you like to roll a spot hidden as you walk through the doors?
Hard success.
Ooh, hard success.
All right.
Hard
Finally.
success.
Oof.
You notice. Well, first of all, the first thing that's real obvious to you is you notice that all of the town is here. About the only people missing are a couple of the people that own the larger ranches outside of town, but they don't always in town, so that's not that big a deal. It's not that big a surprise. But you also notice that for all the appearance on this very obvious, very Christian, very Catholic ceremony going on, there's lots of embroidery on the vestments of both the priests and the younger gentleman ringing the bell. They, oddly enough, seem much more animal motifs. Definitely some different, less crosses than you would expect, and a lot more, well, couple crosses, but that definitely looks like a snake, and that looks like, well, kind of like a crocodile. Lots more animals around the edge of the vestment than you would think would usually be there. And as you come in and work yourself up into taking a seat, I'm assuming in the back.
Yeah. He's going to put his hand to his chest and just rub on something underneath the shirt.
Mm-hmm. And just as he settles in, just kind of looking around, you notice that the bells begin to go quiet.
With my knowledge of the mystic arts and things occultish, would I notice anything specific about the symbology here inside?
Roll me an occult.
Okay, would that be under mythos knowledge?
Yeah, you could roll me a mythos knowledge. Sorry, close that. Ooh, hard success. Or wait, no.
No, regular success.
Regular success. Sorry, it didn't. So, you'll think that that's slightly odd. It's definitely not something that you would be used to seeing. You see a lot of these now. You're seeing a lot more snakes, definitely where you would expect them. It's like, that's slightly not.
Nothing that would fall under standard Catholic or other Christian dogma or anything like that.
Yeah, no, it's almost like as if they're supposed to be, but they're just a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
There's something just
enough
bit
to fit
off.
in, but for an experienced eye, just enough to not fit in. The splinter on the rail as you're sliding down it.
Yep. As you're looking at this, the main priest has stood up. He introduces himself as Father Sebastian. He and his friend, Father Robaldo, will now be in charge of this church, and therefore he wishes your attention and dedication, and he wishes to bless the entire town. And he turns to the young boy who had been, or young man who had been pulling the
rope
bell, and you notice that he had now come up, and instead of pulling the rope for the bell, he's holding an incenser. For those of you who have not been to a Catholic Mass, it's a small thingy on like this. It comes in two pieces, and comes on a chain, and you put incense in it and light it on fire. So he's holding an incenser in his hands. The priest, Father Sebastian, turns and picks up a very small box, elaborate, engraved and very obviously enameled and bejeweled. Even from sitting at the back of the church, you can all see this item, and begins scooping the incense into the incenser. And he turns and he starts saying words, and as he's saying words, which you think are in Latin. Does anyone speak Latin?
I don't know if I speak it per se, but I'd probably be familiar with it with all of my readings.
Do you want to, let's see, roll me that? Let's go with, you could go with either occult or listen if you want.
Let me see let me go with listen.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, on that hard success. There's definitely Latin in there, but there's a lot other words that you know wouldn't usually be part of that Christian mythos, and
And
that's
not part of any classic language that I would recognize.
nope. It's definitely there are a couple Latin words thrown in there. There's occasionally somebody saying pater noster, but there's a whole lot more. Well, very odd language. It's not Greek. You definitely know that. Mm-hmm. It's not Latin. It's not anything you want. And as he's saying this and gesturing with all of you, he starts swinging the incense out over the entire congregation. And I need you all to make me a con check.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Do we just press the green button next to con? Is that correct?
You press the green button next to con.
All right.
Not good.
Ooh, look at that. I did quite well.
Ooh. Only Mr. Ribaldo is going to fail this, but unfortunately for all of you, this is not going to be good.
That's why I brought the scattergun.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't really help you at this point because, well, you might be thinking about picking up that scattergun in your head and you're thinking about it, Mr. Williams, and you almost want to at this point point it at that priest because you know something's not right.
Got that intuition.
Not in this church anymore.
Oh.
You're not in New Mexico anymore. You're not holding a scattergun. You're holding a musket. And you're pointing it across the field, and all you can hear are guns blazing. You can hear shouts and screams as people are bleeding out, as volleys reach across. You know that you were in somewhere in Maryland last time you saw something like this.
Mm-hmm.
What this field was gold. It's definitely not anymore. And you turn and you see the guy standing next to you just blown away by shrapnel as the cannon ball explodes next to your line. Mr. Ribaldo, you were thinking that you might be well, but you look around and you're definitely not in New Mexico. You're back in New York and on a stage, but somebody's laughing and pointing, and there's somebody sitting in that front seat that man definitely wants to make you look like a fool. He's worked real hard to do so at the moment. Everything you try and perform and do has become definitely a joke to him. And you turn to your left, and instead of seeing the curtain to the stage, double checking everything, you see a black, empty void. And the beginnings of a creature slowly reaching its hands out through that void. A large, almost amorphous being that you could not define even if you wanted to. But you feel compelled to. You feel compelled to describe everything you're seeing out loud and in detail. You describe the creature itself. You describe the means and stars which would light behind him. You see the darkness and the reaching blobs and tentacles creeping out towards you. Mr. Ashcroft, you tried to avoid the war, but the war couldn't avoid you. You may not have seen much fighting, but the war was there. It always was. You tried on a train and rode along, but you came across east or west, coming through Louisiana and Mississippi, and all you see is the burning villages and towns of Grant's march to the sea as you go west. But, Mr. Howard, you're not in there. You're trapped looking at a line of Mexican Imperials somewhere in Texas, wondering, what the hell are we doing here? You know that your charging forward is going to be the worst thing you can do, but you hear some son of a bitch in the back yelling, "Remember the Alamo!" and Johnson will lead us through. Excuse me, Jackson will lead us through. And you see the order given to advance, and you see blood and mud and darkness around you. Now, the three of you who passed just are safe. You had a very interesting vision for the most part. Unfortunately, Mr. Ribaldo, you are going to take 3 points of sanity loss for gazing into the starlit abyss. You will all wake up slowly. But things aren't normal. Who wakes up first?
I would probably wake up first. I'm kind of the quick to be alert person, especially my line of work. You never know when someone tries to get weird.
I'm also quite alert too.
I will be the last one since I was the most affected.
Probably. Okay. So Mr. Williams, then Mr. Ashcroft, Mr. Howard, and finally our great Ribaldo.
I'm alert, but I'm getting up there.
Yeah, our old miner needs his sleep when he can. Who wants to roll any of that spot hidden check?
Oh boy.
I can take a stab at it. I'm real good at that.
I'm not. Hey, that's what I expected.
If I may.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
All
Mr.
right,
Howard, success.
Since should I go ahead and roll it as well?
Go
or should
right
we
ahead.
just go with
Go
this?
ahead and
All
try and roll it. Everybody can
right.
roll all the time.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
And
wow.
I missed that one.
You got the same roll though. Just
It's great. As you begin to look around, as you notice, you realize that you're still inside the church, but you are one of the you guys are one of the few. There are a couple others that you recognize, but who are some local ranch hands, but none of the fine, as we would say in today's parlance, fine townsfolk. Those you know, well married, well organized, the right sort are near you, and you all are laying out on pews in this church.
I check to make sure that I still have my things. This oft has happened where you have to be careful. Sometimes they slip you something you don't expect, and
All right, so you're going to check and see if you have all of your things. Do you? Let's roll that luck roll and see if you have everything that you think you should. Because I can tell you right now that your gun is not physically on you. It's sitting at the foot of your
hey,
pew, but it's
hard
not.
success.
Oh, a hard success. You definitely see that gun. It's sitting there. Everything else seems mostly untouched. It's almost like somebody unbuttoned the collar of your shirt, like you would do for someone who is ill.
Okay. So like I perhaps collapse and they put me up on the pew.
Yep, the gun's definitely sitting there. You also notice that somebody's taken the bullets out of your gun. But they're just kind of piled next to it.
Interesting. Okay.
If you had any other weapons on you, they're kind of piled in that same kind of general vicinity.
Okay.
Almost like somebody, not like anybody was really worried, but, didn't want you to hurt yourself when you woke up.
Or hurt someone else by overreacting, perhaps.
That as well.
All right. Well, I will very slightly just kind of roll over and maybe surreptitiously reload my gun and tuck it away for safekeeping.
Okay.
Still wary of my surroundings.
Okay. Mr. Ashcroft, what are you thinking?
Well, he's gripping that thing underneath the shirt.
Okay.
Probably had a dead grip on it the whole time.
All right. As you wake up, you again notice that your weapons have been removed, but they're in easy reach of you. The bullets are also out of your gun, but they're sitting there. Your collar has been loosened, but not like anything's been removed. For both of you, somebody took the time and effort to take the boots off your feet so you didn't mud up pew at the church, I'm assuming.
It's very kind of them.
They were concerned about your health and well-being. Mr. Howard, as you come to, your gun is, again, off you but within reach. The bullets are nearby. Your shirt's been kind of undone, and somebody actually went to the effort of almost polishing your boots. They haven't looked that good in a while.
Just going to waking up, just sort of like, just immediately sort of roll up, look, I see where my stuff is, and I'm just sort of looking up around. Well, ain't that a thing? And just looking around at everybody, just sort of trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
I would say that Clarence would simply have kind of a shocked face, but he hides it well. That's kind of his line of work. He hides that shock, but you can tell he's slightly disturbed, which you don't normally see.
Slightly disturbed. And as the Great Ribaldo begins to wake up, he'll notice that, again, anything that was on him was within an easy reach, but you're missing your stick.
My walking stick is missing?
Your walking stick is missing. And you notice a pile of paper with scribbles and scratches and random symbols on it.
Were they taken out of my notebook that I carry with me, or is it separate paper? Separate.
It's almost like that notebook was
ripped up?
Is sitting out open and laying next to you, and that these are like blank pages that either you or someone else had pulled out and had scribbled all over and made signs and symbols on.
Are they symbols that I would recognize? Go
ahead and roll me that occult.
Our cultist goes insane first. Makes total sense.
Okay, occult?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to mythos?
Oh, you could roll either.
Okay, I'll go with mythos knowledge. Ah!
So close.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Kind of, but not really.
The luck.
Ooh.
Ouch.
You're going to take 7 sanity loss as you attempt to read this.
Should have spent the luck.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, yes, you all have luck. You can use luck to lower a roll. I should have mentioned that earlier. We can retcon that if you would like.
I would like to do that.
You can do that.
I would need to use what, at least 3?
Yeah, you'd need to use at least 3 of your luck pool.
All right, let's use 3 out of there.
Okay, use 3. You're not going to lose that 7 sanity.
Okay.
Lucky for you.
I'll set that back.
And you recognize, looking about this, you recognize your own handwriting. you know you wrote this,
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
but you don't remember doing it. And looking at this and reading through this, you flash back to that dream memory. Which was it?
That vision I had on the stage.
Of being on the stage and the creature reaching forward towards you, and you remember reaching out and doing something. Did you do this? What happened? You're not 100% sure at this point.
Hmm.
You four are the only people left in the building.
The priests are gone. Everything else is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would
And
probably
it's much darker.
I would probably go check in on the others.
I am putting
And-
my boots on.
Well, yeah. I would kind of slide off the pew, put my boots on, and go check in on the others. How are you all doing? What? Did you see something?
What didn't I see? Seems like every now and then you think back, you remember things that happened, but never usually that vivid. I can tell you that. Not the kind of thing I ever usually wanted to remember again.
Yeah, that
Sort
was.
of buttoning up my shirt and getting my gear together. Just checking my. I had a knife. I'm just making sure I still have my knife and putting that.
Yep, you still have all of your gear.
What the heck happened there? They put something in that sensor or something?
It's very possible. No, I've never had something that potent though.
Yeah.
I've tried many things in my line of work.
Looks like the church is taken to recruiting people the same way pirates do.
Oh, I've heard tales of San Francisco, and what happens there. I didn't know it was going to come this far east though.
What have you heard?
Oh, that they take you to China. They call it the Shanghai.
Hey, that's been happening on boats for quite a while. They, you get your drinking at the docks, and then wake up the next morning and you're at sea. And thankfully that ain't never happened to me. But I usually like to stay as far away from the water as possible.
Yeah, that's fair. But even so, we're in a church, and those churchmen definitely seemed a little bit strange. But
Some of their accoutrements had some weird symbols that I don't recognize as anything orthodox.
Because they aren't.
do you know anything about this, Mr. Ashcroft?
What I know is the church views the snake as a symbol of evil.
Exactly.
Yeah, the first serpent, Adam and Eve and all.
Mm.
Now, I ain't much of a religious man, but whenever you wear accoutrements that be holy but wrapped in the evil of your religion, something else is going on.
Yeah. I saw something that looked crocodilian, almost like it was Leviathan or something like that, which would definitely not be part of any orthodox symbology.
As soon as he says that, I would be like looking around in the top of the steeples.
Well, you're investigating the church?
Where'd you see that? Yeah, I'm going to investigate the church because he didn't mention that was in the dream. So, so I'm going to investigate the church and see if there's anything.
All right. So go ahead and roll that spot hidden.
Okay. And as a note too, I'm especially good at listening. I don't know if that's necessarily good for.
Well, I mean, you're just looking for the symbology itself. There
Fair
isn't
enough.
really you could roll me that listen roll to see if you hear anything.
Yeah, I'll do that. Nope, didn't hear shit.
It's real quiet. It's real quiet. The only other sounds you hear are
The rustling of people putting on their boots and getting their gear together.
and the pounding of your heart as it calms down again. Because
Yeah.
as things slowly pull back into the present. Looking around, it looks like a church. At least it looks like the same church you were in, well, when was the last time you were in this building?
Probably when I first arrived. That was the last time, too.
I mean, it's not real. It's kind of plain. It's, a church for a traveling preacher. So there's an altar, there's pews, there's a cross on the wall. That's about it. Some whitewashed boards nailed together. Real glass windows, though.
I would probably say, what? Now, where did those preachers go, though? They seem to have just disappeared.
Well,
Because everyone has disappeared.
no, people have a way of disappearing when you're unconscious.
Yeah, but they seemed concerned for our health and everything. They put us up and checked our pulse, possibly, or
Disarmed us.
they disarmed us.
Well,
I'm
maybe
gonna
they're
check
nice
on-
kidnappers.
Well, they didn't take anything important, that's for sure.
And we weren't bound.
Who else wants to check the door with me? I don't know if we should be alone at this point.
I'll take a look.
All right.
Get up.
So,
I'll go up there with him. Handgun
Alright.
drawn.
Are you?
yeah,
You can,
my hand's on my shotgun for sure.
you can roll that listen or that spot hidden. Your choice.
All right, I'll roll my listen, see if I hear anything. Hey, I heard something.
You hear a couple coyotes and some crickets. Seems you look around and it's a lot darker in here than it was when you got in, and definitely could tell by this point that night's fallen. You don't hear anything on the street coming from the door. You don't hear anybody around.
It's too quiet.
I pull out my pocket watch to see what time it is.
Oh boy.
Good choice.
What you doing?
I'm doing a thing. I'm sorry,
know.
I'm doing a thing.
No, I know. I'm like anxiously waiting for you to do the thing.
I'm doing math, people.
Eldritch
You got it.
math. Sorry.
It is. It's Eldritch math. You look down and you could have sworn when you walked in this building it was before 3 o'clock, and it's after 9 by this point.
After 9. Okay, I pulled my watch up to my ear to make sure it's still ticking.
Definitely still ticking.
Okay. Here's we've been in here for quite a period of time. Like 5 to 6 hours if my watch is correct.
Closer to 6.
That's more sleep than I got in a while. They done did me a favor. I'm gonna actually, since I'm by the front door, I do kind of want to, if I may, pull it open just a hair and look out.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything out there.
You definitely look out and see darkness. You see some stars. The moon's up. It's not real full, and there's some cloud cover rolling in, but nothing you wouldn't expect for October in New Mexico. None of the buildings you look out and see, you can see that they're buildings, and you definitely know that they're there, but none of them are lit up, which is odd.
It's pretty quiet.
Everyone
as
seems
well.
to have disappeared. I mean, I thought maybe it was just the church, but
Yeah, usually
it's
the,
here.
Yeah.
It's a ghost town now.
Yeah, usually the saloon at least is up and running.
And Miss Goodnight's isn't even open.
Yeah, this is on my time of business.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
No lights coming from there or the saloon or anywhere.
Maybe this is the plan on the church's part to get you in trouble with your boss.
I knew it. They always try to get at me at the worst times.
Somehow I have a feeling we weren't at a revival meeting.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, usually the revival happens during the meeting rather than after.
Yeah. That's one way to look at it.
I'm gonna go look for like that incenser or like any kind of like a lantern of sort or something like that. Kind of try to find something like that at the church. I said, well, we might as well stick together. There's something strange going on here, and splitting apart probably ain't the best idea.
Yeah, something very bizarre is happening here. We best stick together.
I've got a lamp and other stuff in my cart. It'll probably help out too if we can end up getting by there. But we'll have to see.
Yeah.
My house is down the street. We can go there.
Well, and it was Lady Night. Sorry, I didn't write that
Lady
down.
Goodnight.
Lady Goodnight.
Lady
like
Pearl Goodnight.
Lady Pearl Goodnight. All right.
Pearl.
All right. Well, let's see if we find something here, and perhaps make our way to the carts or one of our abodes, so we can see what else may be out there. So yeah, I'll probably grab one of them because they seem to be better at finding things. Myself.
So we're just looking around for stuff?
Yeah, I was specifically looking for like some sort of lighting utensil, so to
Okay.
create some
While
sort of
he does that, I want to look to see if I can find that box that they had, that ornate box that we saw earlier.
Okay.
Okay.
You can. Why don't they just have a straight investigate roll? That would be something that would make sense.
Logic will make sense. It would work. Therefore, we can't have it.
You could just do an intelligence roll.
Yeah, just go ahead and do two straight. Why don't both of you do an intelligence roll and see what we can do from there?
Oh my gosh, I'm rolling high. This is great. For the wrong system.
You want me to roll intelligence?
I got
I
an
mean,
extreme.
Oh yeah,
I
you
got
got
an
an
extreme
extreme
positive.
success.
Yeah.
Well, we'll say that you know, our dear friend Mr. Williams is still slightly a little off put by what he was experiencing, and the great Ribaldo ends up finding with his assistants that, well, the box is definitely not still here. Definitely nothing as ornate as that. Neither is it appear as the incenser. There are a couple candles on the altar. They're not lit, but that's not hard to fix. And you see like a box of matches off on a windowsill off to
Perfect.
the side.
I will go ahead and snag the box of matches and the candle, and I think, Mr. Ribaldo, you have a keen eye, sir.
Thank you. Required in my business.
Of course. Yeah, I tend to have a keener eye on the people. However, in this case, we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with something else. And I'll light the candle and start heading back to the front door and say, where should we head to first?
How far away from the church is the saloon?
I can show you right like this. Wait, come back. There we go. 20, like me today.
Let me zoom in again. There we go.
There we go. All right. If this is the church, this is the saloon.
Gotcha. And then Ashcroft's is to the right of us.
Right here.
If we're facing out the door. Yep.
Okay.
And then where would be Lady Goodnight's?
Lady Goodnight's is next door to the saloon down here.
So at the tail end of town?
The tail end of town, closest to the river.
Okay.
All right. I would say perhaps we go to the saloon and Lady Goodnight's. Where's your cot, Mr. Prospector?
It's outside the saloon.
Oh, well, then there we go. I think that maybe is our best options. Most of our abodes are over there. Ashcroft, do you have anything that you are looking for in your abode?
Couple things that I need.
Okay. Well, would you mind if we head to the saloon first and make our way back up?
That's fine.
All right, as I do, this is something that came from the war. I was a squad commander, or something like that. I don't remember exactly the.
Enough people died. You got promoted to an officer, even though you weren't supposed to be one.
Exactly. That battle was pretty harsh, and you just had to survive. You had to keep moving. So that's what I'm doing, and so we'll head to the saloon, and probably when I get there, if we get there, I will have a hefty shot of something very strong.
All right. You head yourselves down to the saloon. Are you going in any particular order? I mean, Mr. Williams has taken the front.
I'll probably be second, just so that I can I can try to spot things.
Okay.
I'll take up the rear since I got a gun out.
All right.
I guess I'll take third position.
And I'll have my gun definitely raised.
All right, then if anybody who wants to can make me that listen or that spot hidden check.
I shall do that.
Oh no, that was the wrong button.
It's one or the other.
Go!
Yeah.
My goodness.
I mean, you have luck.
Yeah, I think I'm going to spend a wee bit of luck. I'm going to spend 3 points of luck to get it down to a regular success.
Man, we're off to a great start, folks.
Hey, we get all the bad rolls out now. Rest of the year's gonna look good.
True. That's true.
Yep, get all those bad rolls out on the first. Everything will be great. As you slowly work your way down the main street, back towards the saloon, you don't see anything, but it's quiet. It's real quiet. You'd expect there to be music or lights from the saloon. You'd expect there to be laughter and folk going in and out of Lady Goodnight's. You'd expect some dumb drunk to be passed out in the middle of the street, particularly by this time of night. But there's no one.
Or at the very least, a whisper of what the heck is going on.
This is way too quiet.
You do see, however, Mr. Williams. Excuse me, Mr. Howard. Sorry. Mr. Howard. You do see one of those ranch hands that was clearing the bar earlier, just kind of standing still, motionless almost, in the middle of the street just south of the saloon.
Like at the tail end of the street, basically? Like he's ready to duel?
Like he's just standing there.
Oh, man.
You think we should cut around? I see that fellow there weren't.
Well, he's at the south end of it, so we could just go to your cart.
Yeah,
And
I got
really
it in the
bother
alley. I got it in the alley next to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how I would do this. Charm is one of my strong suits. However, I've been rattled quite a bit, and he seems a bit. I guess. And I'm open to suggestions here in terms of how I might play this. Whether or not to understand his psychology to see if he's open to conversation, perhaps, or if he's just like.
Yeah, you can definitely try that.
Okay. Yeah, because I kind of like there's a sense of like he's just standing there, not really.
Yep.
Come on, baby. Do I want to spend luck? Like, so how does luck work exactly? It's been a while.
luck. You can use luck points to reduce the number to a success. You could even theoretically reduce it down to as far as an extreme success. It can never actually. You can't use luck to gain a critical.
Got it. Okay.
But you can.
And the more luck I use, the
harder your luck roll becomes.
Got it.
And
you also don't want to go below 30 luck because you had to spend 30 to not die once.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Then I will hold off on that and just be like, yeah, he's a matter confusing right now. He's just too hard to read. I will just kind of. I think the only option we have right now is just carry on and hope for the best.
Can I tell from here if he's in some sort of hypnotic trance?
Mm.
With my mystic knowledge.
You want to roll that power check and find out?
Okay. Under power?
Mm-hmm. Just click the power, the green button next to power. Ooh.
Nice.
Hard success. You definitely... He may not be hypnotized, but he's definitely not reacting in a normal fashion.
He may not be hypnotized, but he's not here.
Oh, he's not all there. He's definitely staring at something and definitely focused on that. He's not paying y'all any kind of attention at the moment, and theoretically he could see you all because, you're the only light on the street.
I turn my head to see if I can see where he is staring.
He's just looking straight up. He's literally standing in the middle of the street looking at the church.
Just looking straight out towards the church. Okay.
Not moving. He seems to be breathing, you guess.
Very slow, but breathing as if he's in some sort of...
I would say while we're doing this, I would say, while this is going on, I'm slowly inching everyone forward towards the cart. If there's no opposition to that.
Nope.
Okay. So I would say we'd make it to the cart and then...
Okay. First of all, is the cart still there?
That's a very good question.
Yes, the cart is still there.
Is my stuff still in the cart?
Roll that luck roll and we'll see how much of it's still there.
All right.
Oh boy.
That's going to be the question then. Ah.
Nice.
Ooh, yes. Everything that you left in the cart is still there. You do notice that things seem to have been kind of rifled through.
Okay.
And then reorganized, almost as if somebody repacked it for you.
Okay, well, this is then the question. Well, the three main items, there are three main items I'm thinking of. One is another lantern, which I'm wondering if that's there, then I'll just pick that up. I have a pick in there that could be used for weaponry. And then underneath a number of the other bags, I kind of had the most concealed bag. I don't know if they would have gotten to it or not, but I will find out. Which has special, only very occasionally use equipment for the use in mining.
You mean that very special, occasionally used equipment that's very volatile and might go boom on occasion?
Yes, that thing usually comes in sticks.
Is it? How sweaty is it?
Yeah, it's not. You do see that everything you brought is still there. The only thing that's interestingly missing from your very, very securely packed things that go boom are the wicks.
Oh.
Hell, I'm going to have to replace those. Well, that's interesting.
I mean, the dynamite's there.
Yeah. I'm just basically I very carefully, there's this one little bag there's this one bag that I very carefully slide out and that I look in there, and there's actually probably a box inside the bag that I open and I look at, and I'm like...
Packed with straw and suspended by itself. Yes, it's designed.
I open this box, I'm like, well, damn. And I close the box again. All right. Well, if we want to use this, it's going to take some time. Looks like nothing too bad got at it aside from hands. All right. I'm going to very carefully pick it up and put it in my my bag,
Mm-hmm.
and
That works.
set it in and be like, all right, well, hope we don't get too near any fires. That's all I got to say right now. Might need a little time. I want to make use of some of the special equipment, but we'll have to see what happens.
Begin to hear whistling on the wind. You look around. The gentleman in the street is still standing there, but now there are two with him.
2 others, so 3 total.
3 total. They're all all ranch hands that you're familiar with. You know they all work the same ranch. You know that they're not looking at you. They're not even looking towards the saloon.
Would we know the name of the ranch?
Mm-hmm. You would know the name of this ranch. You would know that this is the ranch owned by one Theodore Bradford and his good wife Genevieve.
So it's the Bradford and
The Bradford Ranch.
the Bradford Ranch. The BR. Baskin Robbins. Sorry.
No, the steak does not come in 31 flavors.
Dang it. I had hope.
He has more than 31 head of cattle, that's for sure.
Yes, actually, his is the largest spread in the near area. In fact, most folks say it's the largest spread in the territory. But you can't confirm that.
I'll comment to the others and I'll say, I think there's something going on with the Bradford boys. There's.
So it would appear.
Yeah.
I'll slowly make my way into the saloon, see if they react to that.
They don't move or react to anything.
Okay.
But as you walk into the saloon, I think that's where we're going to take this first break.
Yay!
Of course.
Awesome.
Oh no.
All right then, we are going to take a quick break, 5-10 minutes, and then we shall return and see what awaits us.
In the saloon.
See you folks shortly.
Yeah.
Hello, we have returned for more pain and suffering. Actually, we've hardly had any yet. I can't wait to get to the to the real agony.
Speak for yourself.
Fair. That's very fair.
I mean, that luck helped you.
Yep.
But as we dive back into this, we see again this dark, moonlit street, dust drifting in the wind. These three figures standing, staring straight at the church, not paying any attention to the four of you. As Mr. Williams, you decide to open the door of the saloon. Are you paying any attention to the building before you go in?
I would definitely do like a listen, so I'd like kind of get my ear to the door. Like, are there windows and such in the?
Yeah, there are windows along the front, but they're actually there. This isn't a Batwing building. It actually has a door.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd probably be like, again, military. I'd probably look at one of them to kind of peer in while I listen.
Mm-hmm.
So we can kind of get a general sense of what's going on with this place. It's all very strange.
Okay, go ahead and roll that listen check.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, a success.
Extreme
Extreme
success.
success.
That's awesome.
Extreme success. You hear breathing.
Is it like heavy?
No, it's very metered. You also hear something else. Something that you, living in New Mexico, might want to pay a lot of attention to. You hear the very slightest bit of a rattle on the other side of the door.
I kind of very seriously, like, you probably have never seen Mr. Williams looks this serious. I look at them all and I kind of do. Is there like a silent symbol for a snake? I know with diving, they make like hand gestures and stuff like that because you can't talk in the ocean. So I would be like, yeah, like.
You gesture somehow that you think it means a snake.
I hear like rattles. Yeah, I'll do that. I hear rattles. And so I'll gesture that to the crew.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of like nervously on the door with my shotgun ready.
Mm-hmm. Is anyone else going to do anything, or are you going to let him?
I slowly pull my revolver out of my shoulder holster.
Yeah, got my
and prepare it.
got my gun out. I'm trying to, just trying to think. I'm trying to think, common wisdom for what to do, and usually it's basically freeze and then move away from the sound. So.
Well, I'll look to Mr. Howard and Ashcroft because they've been everyone. I'll look at everyone. I'll be like, see if you can get eyes. Like, look inside. Eyes on the creature.
So, who wants to roll that spot hidden to see if they can see inside?
I'll do it. I took that bull. Oh, no.
I failed.
So Ashcroft was looking too.
Okay. Mr. Ashcroft, you trying to look inside that window, and you're holding that candle. It's just reflecting black off that glass into your face.
I'm not the one with the candle.
Oh, well. So whoever got the candle is reflecting back into your face. So you can't see anything. All right.
I'm holding the candle next to you.
All right. Ooh.
Nice.
But Mr. Ribaldo, the great Ribaldo, has a hard success.
I'm used to looking in darkness off the stage to try to spot people in my mark.
And you look in through this, and you look through the window side-eyed, and you see that, yes, there is that rattler that Mr. Williams was telling you about. There's more than one. There are a lot of rattlers on that floor. Almost, forgive the reference, as if somebody had laid them out across the entire inside of that saloon. Kind of like, for those of us from the audience looking back 134 years later, a different movie on the floor.
All right, I look towards Mr. Williams, and I put in my hands like this and say, "Stop, move," and I just say, I do this as if I'm trying to show that there's many kind of that they're all over the place in there.
What did we need inside the saloon again?
I don't even know what they're pantomiming.
Well, I was looking for some liquid courage, but all right. I guess we're gonna have to find it elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that venomous courage trumps liquid courage any day.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. All right. Well, I think we could try Lady Goodnight, see if there's anything there.
Now, do we have to
So-
go bypass these people on the street to get to her establishment?
Yep.
Or we can go back to my place. I think I left a bottle of bourbon sitting on a windowsill.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if
the
there's...
guys are standing right about here.
Okay.
Oh, I need a map up for that.
Okay, sorry. The gentlemen are standing right about there.
Oh, okay. So it's just before Lady Goodnight.
Yeah, it's kind of in between. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my house has a pretty good lock on it, so.
I know, but if they've done this to the saloon, there's no telling what's in the other buildings for sure. I don't know.
Good nights may be the same way.
Indeed. I'm gonna look to any of you and it's like, do any of you know how to be quiet? Okay, moderately so. Perhaps we should try to go around these fellas and see what's on the other side of this road here, because it seems like they're either protecting something or they're trying to prevent us from leaving.
And with that, I'm just going to sneak off.
Mm-hmm. Roll me that stuff.
Extreme success.
Ooh.
Whoa!
Nice.
Like,
Beautiful.
literally, you just see me kind of slink away and like, where'd he go?
Are you good at stealth? Wait, where did he go?
Yeah.
There was a person. No one sees you leave the small circle of light that these two candles are giving off. You duck into the darkness and kind of just fade as you kind of duck behind a water trough and a hitching post that's out in front of the saloon as you work your way. Where are you trying to go specifically?
They want to see what's beyond this, see if they're like guarding anything at the dock or Lady Goodnight, so I'll just kind of look around.
Okay, so you're going to slide yourself further down.
Yeah.
And you're going to work your way down beyond them. It's easy enough to get beyond these guys. You work your way further. I need you to roll me a spot hidden to see what you can see, though.
Oh, I'll be like, oh, fuck.
You see
Oops.
darkness. And as you look into this darkness,
Oh, no.
something emerges that you were totally not expecting. And you see a figure. At first you think they're just the same figures that are standing on the street. And then you look again, and something moves that shouldn't be moving. And you realize that while this thing stands on what appears to be two legs, it's definitely not a person or a human that you're thinking of. They're worms and maggots and cockroaches and beetles, oozes and combined with mud, slide and slither and kind of reach out towards you and reaching for your face at this point as it kind of emerges from the black inky darkness. And I need you to roll me a sanity check.
Oh, man.
Hard success.
Hard success. Ooh, good. That's
Hard.
good. You're only going to take 1d8. 3 sanity loss as you look upon this creature, this thing that you know should not be moving around, at least in coordination, and is reaching out for you. You have the ability to react. What are you going to do?
I'm going to start moving in the other direction.
You're gonna run? Are you gonna keep being stealthy, or are you just gonna run for it?
I'm going to keep being stealthy.
All right, let's see if we can keep that stealth up.
Success.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
you make your way back. This creature seems.
It's like I step forward, then I just start walking backwards.
Yep. This creature definitely seems to just kind of slide, and you, because you know where it is, no one else really can see it, just kind of slides into the darkness further and slides out and begins to walk across the street.
The creature?
Yeah, but you don't know it's there yet.
Oh,
Only Ashcroft has seen it.
got it. Okay.
The creature of maggots and oozes and mud that's slowly moving its way that shouldn't be working around. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I would say like at some point in time while this is happening, like simultaneously, Williams would notice that Ashcroft has disappeared. Like, bloody Ashcroft! I told him to stick together.
And then I come back.
There you are.
Slightly white-faced and maybe a little green. I mean, you're holding your stomach.
What's wrong?
Let's just get to my place. By Papa Legay, let's get to my place.
You look like you've seen the proverbial ghost.
Let's just get to my place. I have a rifle that I really need. Now.
That's one reason why I wanted to go there.
You don't want to go that way.
Okay. Well, it's too bad. That's where my rifle is too, and Lady Goodnight's. But all right, let's go to your place then. At least we'll have one rifle, maybe.
You might want to just sign that rifle off.
We'll keep it in mind for later, just in case we somehow get there. I don't know. All right, I'll try to. Did you see something? Should we be more careful?
We need to be quiet. You might want to put out the lights until we get to my place.
Okay. With that, kind of in a hurried obedience, Williams puts out the lantern light, or the candle light rather.
Yeah, you know Ashcroft to be a hard man.
Yeah.
And this is.
All right, and then I'll try to. I guess I'm taking lead. I guess so. I'll try to lead the group on a trip to Ashcroft, and I'll kind of pull Ashcroft to the front to lead us to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do so stealthily.
All right, then let's go ahead and roll that stealth, guys.
Oh god damn!
Here we go.
No, not good.
Oh no! It's a great start.
Let's see. Okay. Okay.
Yay.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well,
At least one of us did.
I reckon I didn't think I've ever seen you spook before, man.
Speak. Just.
you definitely. Well, I guess it's one of those knowing your own way in the dark, your own home could definitely be a benefit. Trying to be stealthy and quiet through the very, very light starlight that's coming down through the clouds at this point, particularly without any lights on. A couple of your friends, however, aren't the quietest.
Yeah. Clayton
And,
just forgets to shut up, I think. That's
Clayton,
Yeah.
Clayton may have accidentally walked into a, porch railing and just kind of cursing, stubbing his toe. And
Can we say that, narratively, the hard success kind of dampened the fumble? So as soon as Clayton stubs his toe on a corner of a building or something,
I cup my hand over his mouth to keep him quiet.
yeah.
somebody definitely can keep him quiet.
All right, cool.
Not shouting loudly.
And that's probably part of my failure is trying to
Cursing.
keep him quiet.
I love it. This is great.
It's a little dark. It's a little hard to see in this kind of situation. Does anyone want to roll me that spot hidden or listen check as you approach Mr. Ashcroft's house?
I can roll. I can roll.
Ooh! That extreme success on your own house, Mr. Ashcroft.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I missed it. Can I go ahead and spend some luck on my listen
Sure.
since I'm that close?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
Your luck is all about you. Your choices.
Okay.
Boy.
I'm gonna get that down to a success.
The only thing you can't spend luck on is Sanity
Okay.
That makes sense.
Fair enough.
And luck rolls.
and luck rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't spend luck on luck rolls, and you
Right.
can't. You can't spend luck on sanity.
Can't luck your sanity to return. That's a willpower thing.
Exactly.
All right. Got it. All right.
So you hear, and you hear a couple people breathing. You definitely hear more humanoid breathing, kind of slightly snoring, slightly. That gentleman obviously has a deviated septum, and couldn't be quiet. Might be a heavy mouth breather kind of person. Coming from the street near Mr. Ashcroft's house. Mr. Ashcroft, however, is very familiar with his own home and location, and was a little quieter approaching, and can see at this point 3 figures just standing in the middle of the street staring at the church.
In front of his house?
Just beyond his front door to the west.
Gotcha.
So if his house is here, and I'm sliding the
Right,
thingy,
it's just-
they're about here.
Gotcha.
Well,
Okay.
my house is the very one.
Oh yeah. Sorry, no. So they're about here. So they're about here then. They're standing
Gotcha.
just to the edge of your house on the road. It's been a very similar pattern and orientation as the 3 figures near Lady Goodnight's.
We would recognize them as the Bradford boys.
You'd recognize these
Bradford.
gentlemen as more of the Bradford boys. This one particular gentleman, Mr. Ashcroft, is very familiar. Mr. Silas Farley, who had a gun in Mr. Ashcroft's face a short while ago.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not worried about them. I'm looking through the window of my house.
Okay.
I'll kind of motion that 2 of us stand guard while Ashcroft check his house.
You looking through your front door, Mr. Ashcroft, and on
Through the window.
through the window, Mr. Ashcroft, and on that extreme success, I won't make you roll for it again. You definitely see that there's something slithering around on your floor, but it's nowhere near as like one large object instead of many small.
Mm. What's in there, Miss? What's in there, Mr. Ashcroft? Can you get in?
There's a snake in there.
More snakes. Well,
It's kind of large.
Say a good 3 to 5 feet.
that does not bode well for us.
More
Uh,
rattlesnakes?
You don't hear a rattle this time. Now, mind you, not all of the snakes that were in the saloon were rattlers, but you definitely...
There was enough of them by that you heard that distinct rattler sound.
Exactly.
I'm gonna try a different approach. I'm gonna try to approach one of the Bradford boys with kind of gun ready, but not like
Not pointed.
yeah,
Out, but not pointed.
Not pointed. But like it's like kind of at my side. Like I can draw it quickly if I need to. But I'm gonna kind of call out to them and say, "You boys having a good old day, are you?" It's been a curious adventure we've been on here, trying to find any lively souls. You wouldn't happen to know anything better. You all seem like you're in the best minds. It's the best like kind of half-assed charm that I'm working on here. Trying to see if I can pull something out of them.
Two of them, Jake and Elroy, you know them. They're drunk wastrels, and Lady Goodnight has thrown them out of her establishment on multiple occasions, and I believe the last time they were there, they were banned for life. But don't actually say anything. They just kind of turn their heads in unison and look at you. Silas, however, turns, looks at you. Mr. Bradford would like to speak with you. And he doesn't address it to you.
It's kind of like
Mr.
seeing
Williams.
through me.
He addresses it to Mr. Ribaldo.
Oh.
Oh, really?
I kind of like curiously look to where his eyes are pointed, and I look back at Mr. Ribaldo and I look at Mr. Silas.
I
Mr.
walk up
Bradford would like to
slowly.
see him. Sorry, Mr. Ribaldo.
I slowly walk up to Silas. What reason does Mr. Bradford seek my audience?
Mr. Bradford would like to speak with you.
Okay, I reach into my jacket pocket. I've got kind of these fancy silk satinish gloves on that I always wear, trying to look as posh and formal as possible. In one of my jacket pockets, I've got a little atomizer that has chloroform inside it that I always spray on my hand when I'm preparing to supposedly put someone into a hypnotic state and all that, more to put in some suggested memory and all that. I spray some on the hand, and I put my hand in front of his face to see if there's any reaction at all to the chloroform.
Roll me the spot hidden to see if you can see it in the dark. It is quite a bit dark. You put the candle out by this point.
Oh, that's true.
Not even close.
Yeah. Nope. Sorry. On a 94, no. You don't see any reaction. Not at all. You don't know if he reacted or not. All he does is he says, Mr. Bradford would like to speak with you.
In the same tone.
Exactly the same tone, same inflection, same manner, same words.
Does he appear to be in the same almost hypnotic state that the person we saw on the other street?
Yes, you could definitely infer that from what you knew, based on the other way.
Okay. I was using the chloroform to try to confirm my suspicion and all that, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter at this point. Okay. How soon does he wish to make my audience?
Now. And Mr. Ashford, would you roll me a listen or a spot hidden? And Mr. Howard as well.
Would you rather want listen or spot hidden? They're both the same, really and truly.
Your choice on whichever one you want.
I shall go spot hidden.
Oh boy.
Ooh! Critical, which makes up very much for Mr. Ashford's fail, as apparently Mr. Ashford is very focused on the conversation happening in the middle of the street. Probably.
No, he's probably more focused on the snake in his house.
Well, the snake on his house. He's focused on that snake in his house. I mean, what you gonna do with a 5-foot snake in your front door? You gotta do something with it. You gotta figure that out. But as he's standing there staring at it, you, Mr. Howard, see out of the corner of your eye a large figure emerging from the shadows behind, in the alleyway behind Mr. Ash, to the side of Mr. Ashford's house, and you see a figure coming out slowly. It appears humanoid, but it's moving in a manner that's much more irregular, sliding, slithering, kind of enveloping the ground as it goes. You have time to make one reaction.
Okay. Who am I? Who am I near again? What?
You and Ashford are next to the house. And the other two are in the middle of the street talking to the Bradford boys.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna bring my gun up, and without taking my eyes off the whatever is coming. As I'm backing up slowly, I'm going to just smack Richard on the shoulder for a second, and just sort of gesture toward it. As I bring this up, and the. Not sure exactly what it is, but it looks roughly human-ish shaped, you say?
Yep, and it seems to be almost enveloping the ground as it moves, sliding, oozing forward, creeping towards you.
All right. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to say, you all want to stay put. I'm going to say to it, you all should stay put, friend, because you come closer, I'm going to have to open fire on you.
It approaches and says in a voice that seems oddly familiar to you, almost. I am definitely not your friend, Clayton.
And yet we're on a first-name basis, it seems.
Mm-hmm. And you see emerging from this darkness into the light a face, or most of a face. Is that your wife?
Oh.
But there's something off.
Well, for one thing, she's up and walking around.
Wait, I thought she was slithering. Did I mishear that?
Right, yeah, she's up and slithering around. Yes, my mistake.
I mean, picture more the slow envelopment of rock and ground as lava approaches and it subsumes it behind it.
Oh my God.
And you see, looking at her face, that this face is not human, and it begins to move and shatter and shift, and you see maggots and bugs crawl across it, and you see oozes and slimes begin to emerge, snails and cockroaches creeping across. You think you see a... Wait, is that... Oh my God, that's just more blood and guts walking and talking to you. I need you to make a sanity check, Mr. Howard.
I think it's time for a sanity check. Let's see. This will be fun. I have such a low sanity. Where is my sanity? There it is.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You definitely succeed at looking upon this figure. However, you're still going to take that 8
Maxed.
sanity loss. As you are also going to take a temporary insanity of being stunned and focused. You can't look away from this. Is this your wife? You're not sure. She's talking to you. She's calling you by name. She also sounds very unhappy with you for some reason. So that might be possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's not normal.
Oh, that's not good at all. And
you're going to be effectively stunned
okay.
for 4 rounds.
Okay. And I probably can I probably Ashcroft probably, if I may, hears me say one word, and that word is Alyssa.
You remember my name. That's good. You can definitely hear it by this point, Ashcroft. What are you going to do?
Wait, hear the creature?
Well,
Or his
she's
wife?
right up next to Howard, and Ashcroft can definitely hear it by this point.
Got it. Okay. Oh boy. And just for spatial awareness,
You're about 60
Rebaldo
feet.
Rebaldo and I are 60 feet away roughly.
Can we hear any of this shit?
You might be able to hear. Well, roll me that listen check. I mean,
Oh boy.
Mr. Howard isn't talking very loudly.
Oh,
I'm
You
gonna
definitely-
spend 9 luck points to get that to a success.
You definitely hear a conversation going on behind you, and you definitely hear a woman's voice say, "Clayton, we're not friends."
All right. I look at where that voice is coming from. Does the shape look familiar to me? Like
Are
maybe
you're
something
looking at it?
like something I had seen in a vision earlier?
Roll me that mythos check,
Ooh.
and then roll me that sanity.
Oh. Nice.
Yep. Isn't it great? Your only guys are all succeeding on this check, on the sanity, and you still take 6 sanity loss. As you are slightly aghast at this walking mound of ooze and blood and maggots and bugs and cockroaches and just things creeping and crawling and standing in the shape of a woman who seems very intent and focused on your dear friend Mr. Howard. And you recognize that this is not whatever you saw in that vision earlier. It's something much more. This is more terrestrial, obviously tied to the earth and the mud and the muck in which it crawled out of. That was vast beyond your impossible comprehension. As you've turned.
It's definitely otherworldly, but not what I saw earlier. Then.
Nope. It's in a way, it's more this worldly than anything you've come across. Mr. Ashcroft, what are you doing now that you're hearing this conversation behind you directly?
I'm gonna look over, seeing the same thing I saw earlier.
Yep.
He's going to say something in French.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone speak French?
Not really.
I mean, I do.
My character probably does because of his travels.
Well, you'd understand me saying, in the name of, as he grips at the thing underneath his shirt, and he points his gun at this thing, in the name of Baron Samedi, back off.
Are you going to fire?
Not yet.
The creature ignores you. You're inconsequential. She's focused on Clayton. And at this point, the Bradford boys have seen Ribaldo turn towards the creature and have started walking towards him.
I have been kind of split between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grab Ribaldo and say, we need to stick together. And I'm going to run us towards towards the others. And for now,
creature.
What's that?
Looking upon the creature for the first time.
No, I still haven't seen the creature.
How are you going to get to the others without seeing her?
Well, I look at the I see them, don't I?
Yeah, I mean, like she's standing in front of and next to Howard. So I mean, you could. I want to see how this would work. You're only gonna have to roll it the once.
I know, but my sanity's not that great.
Welcome to Cthulhu.
Yeah, I know, right?
That is no escape from sanity rolls.
All right, fine. We'll go for it, and we'll see. Okay, if I fail, I'm going to fire upon it.
Okay.
It reminds me of something.
Oh, good extra success. Yep.
Nicely done.
Yep. And you still take 8 sanity loss.
What? Oh my god.
You don't want to know what the failure is on this creature. You really don't. You see this thing as you're running towards Howard and Ashcroft, and it looks like a woman, but you see them melting in murk and blood and guts and mud and maggots crawling across it. And you are horribly sick, and you feel that now might be the time to just keep running as you take that temporary condition.
Okay. I will. Just to be clear, Ribaldo, did you come with me? Like willingly?
Yes, when you as soon as you said that, I quickly agreed and followed you.
Okay. So I would
For me,
say
it was on delay, a little more on, a little less delay.
So I would, with that condition, even I would try to grab the rest of them and be like, "We must move now," and kind of go into survival mode of like, I must protect my squad. I must keep them alive, kind of thing. And I'd move us towards like away from this creature, and maybe back to the church.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna move. That's part of the problem.
I know. I was kind of thinking like I would try to jar you, like I would try to.
Would I recognize the state that he's in?
Make me a psychology roll.
Would I be able to assist on that? Because I'm also, I'm kind of like a state.
No, you're in a state right now.
Yeah, never mind.
You're not even recognizing the state that he's in.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. You don't recognize it. You think there's something off about him as Mr. Williams plows hard into Mr. Howard, joining him enough to get him kind of shoved out of the line of vision of his wife? Question mark. As you begin to run down the street, as it were.
So he's back with us now?
Uh-huh.
I'm
Okay.
just sort of looking back and forth and trying to decide whether to go with them, and I think ultimately I do go with them, but I'm just like, there's
Still torn.
extreme regret.
I grab him by the arm and try to halfway drag him along.
I'll be like yelling in his ear. It's like, it's not your wife. It's not your wife.
She knows. She knows I didn't. All right.
Clayton. Why are you leaving me, Clayton? You keep leaving me, Clayton. As the figure slowly moves down the street following you. Not quickly, definitely you could outrun this. But you also see the Bradford boys are approaching at more of a pace.
Okay. I mean, I'm running, pulling as many of them as I can with me to the church. I want to say.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is the bottle of bourbon still on my windowsill?
Roll me a luck roll. Let's find out.
Hard success.
All
Yes,
right.
the bottle of bourbon is still sitting on your...
Hard success. You still have hard liquor.
Grab it before we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it.
Yep.
It's gonna make a good weapon.
It'll definitely make a good something. You grab that bottle as you run by, and you keep going. You're running towards the church. You're booking it towards there, and as you approach the church, somebody want to roll me a spot hidden or a listen check? Either one.
I would, but I don't think I'm paying attention to any of that stuff.
Yeah, for about one more round.
Yeah.
Oh, just missed. Everyone has success, so I won't waste any luck now.
Okay. Yep. You all see a figure standing on the steps of the church, and you see now that the church is lit. It's the only building in town that's lit. He's a large man, just over 6 feet tall, broad-shouldered, dusky, blackish brown hair, a little long, but not unkempt for the time, with a large mutton chops and handlebar mustache.
Would we recognize this person?
Oh, you know this gentleman. This is Mr. Bradford himself, Mr. Theodore Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
Standing on the steps of the church. He turns to you and says, "Welcome, my dear friends. I was missing out on you. We apologize that you were left to your own devices. There were some things we needed to take care of. But Mr. Ribaldo, if you'd come right this way, sir, we have some discussions we need to have."
Williams would lift his shotgun up, pointed directly at Mr. Bradford, and say, "What hell have you brought upon us this day? Before I relinquish my friend Mr. Rivaldo here, I want to have some answers."
Boy, you think you deserve answers or know what you're talking about. Put that weapon down, and I need you to make a counter powers check, please.
Powers check?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Well, hit it. Hit the little thingy. Yeah.
The green?
The green thingy next to powers. Ooh, a success. That's good. Let's see if it's... You manage... Here we go. Let's see if you do manage. Yes, you do. You do manage, because they are opposed powers checks. You do manage to resist the compulsion to drop that weapon. Your arm starts to feel a little heavy, as if, yeah, I should... No, I shouldn't do that. Why the hell are you telling me what to do?
So I just kind of like firm my grip in response to that and say, "I don't think you know what I'm asking you, son. Answer."
Your species is all the same. As he drops his guys, and standing there is a very tall, very, muscular built humanoid, but that's not human skin, and that's not a humans don't have tails, and they don't have hoods, and I need all of you to make a sanity check.
Oh no.
Hey.
I fail.
Success.
Okay. If you, the two of you, Clayton and Ribaldo, you both succeed, so you take no sanity loss. Those who lost, well, it's only a snake person. You're fine.
Nothing I haven't seen in my studies of...
You lose
ancient
3
cultures.
sanity.
Oh boy.
You lose 3 sanity. As you see upon you a large, powerful snake person, man. I'm gonna go with man. In full ceremonial regalia, he gestures out. "I really don't have time to deal with you and your kind at the moment. I need to speak with Mr. Ribaldo. Boys, will you deal with these fine gentlemen for me?" As the Bradford boys who had been following you are now standing behind you, and you have 6 gentlemen with not guns, but a couple knuckle dusters, and one gentleman holding a shotgun, but not pointed at you, behind you, approaching to take, so that he to approach you and capture Mr. Ribaldo.
Yeah.
I'm just going to has the not the trauma, I guess, but the has
the confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I've been sort of thinking for a moment. I'm just going to look up. Bradford, known you for a while now. Don't know what in tarnation you've done to yourself, but that don't matter so much right now. I just need to know one thing. I say, gesturing back in the direction of where I saw Alyssa.
Mm-hmm.
Are you responsible for this? You responsible for bringing her back?
Define responsible.
You ain't Is you the one who ain't letting my wife rest?
Again, define responsible.
Well, she wasn't walking around yesterday, I can tell you that.
Are
You're the
you
reason
quite
why she's
sure,
walking around today?
Howard? Are you quite sure? Because yesterday you were neck deep in a bottle, is my recollection.
Well, you may have me to rights there, but I don't have whatever it takes to bring back the dead.
No, you don't. And I need you guys to roll initiative, as the Bradford boys are within striking distance of you guys now.
I knew it.
All right, where's initiative?
So it's not really initiative. It's just dex. Roll your dex, and based off of that, we'll go from there.
Dex.
Do.
All right, does Mr. Bradford look like anything that I saw in my vision earlier?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, so what have we got? Who have we got? What have we got? We've got dex rolls. We've got 28, 41, 51. Okay, sorry, Howard. It's okay. You and a couple of the Bradford boys are gonna go. Ooh. Well, that's good. So first up is our Mr. Ashcroft.
I'm gonna hand the bourbon to Howard. Make a bomb. And then I'm just gonna start shooting these Bradford boys. Especially
All right.
specifically the one with the shotgun.
Okay, that's Silas. He's pointing it at you now.
Success.
All right. Okay, go ahead and roll the damage on that. Hold on. How big a success is it?
Not
And
much.
you have a yeah. Okay, so then it should roll the damage for you automatically.
Oh, I should have done it down here. Okay.
Yeah, and the weapon. If you do it, just roll it again, and we'll take the damage. It doesn't matter if it rolls a well, then you go. You still a success. So 8 damage. You blow a hole, and he's within 10 feet. So if you wanted to, you could fan the hammer. Take 3 shots with a revolver.
Yeah. Why not?
Otherwise, you only get 1 shot per action.
So do I roll it 2 more times or?
Just roll it. Roll it 1 more time, because we'll take that second success, and we'll just double the damage.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nicely done.
11.
I'll
You
take that
you
double
fan this. You fan the hammer at him, and you put 3 holes: one in his shoulder, one in his arm, or one in his side, and one right through his throat as you drop Silas Farley to the ground. You never liked that son of a bitch, anyways, did you?
I didn't know the man, so.
Well, he kept you from going in your house, so that's reason enough.
Alrighty. It is now, I believe. Hold on, sorry, I gotta do maths. It is now our dear friend Mr. Williams.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So as the gunfire flows, the instincts kick in, and Mr. Williams whips up his shotgun at however, I don't. Is it like a cone that the shotgun?
I mean, they're kind of not really. I mean, you
Okay.
can affect. If you're within 10 feet, you can affect more than one target with a
Got it.
shotgun.
Are
And they are
10
within
feet?
10 feet of you, yes.
Okay. All right. So then, yeah, I will try to get the best clump that I can.
Yeah, you can get 3 of them.
Awesome.
I'll say you can get 3 of them.
Awesome. And I will blast away. So I just hit here.
You hit where it says weapons,
Yeah.
where it says shotgun.
Scattergun, firearm. It's using that skill. It's got the damage 46, if I recall.
Because you're within 10 feet of them, it'll be 46.
That is a fail.
Yes, but how bad a failure is it is the important question.
It's a 97 out of 70.
That's, it's not a fumble.
Yep.
So the gun doesn't explode. But as you go to fire out the cartridge charges, the cartridge sticks in the barrel, you'd have to pump it and reload to use it again.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably a gun you had since the war. It's a little old. It's a little tired.
Indeed. I try to keep it up, but you know.
Yeah, but it needs a little love. Are you
Okay,
gonna move? Are you gonna do anything else?
I'd probably get into a position where we're not clumped up, so I'd probably move a little bit away.
Okay.
And still like get in kind of a range where I have eyesight on both of them.
Okay. All right. Then I believe sorry, I'm doing this the hard way.
No worries.
After you, it is Theodore Bradford, and he's gonna literally walk out amongst you all and try and bite Howard, because he was kind of a
Impertinent.
impertinent so-and-so, and realistically, so he's literally gonna walk up on you and try and bite you.
It's fair.
Nice.
And he fails at that horrendously. You just kind of dodge out of the way, and you see these large venomous fangs reaching out towards you, and you're like, yeah, no.
Nope,
Your prospector instincts duck and cover as the cave in.
Mm-hmm. Your hindbrain comes into effect, and you roll out of the way, or maybe that training you had back from that Mexican-American war kicks in, and you dodge quickly out of the way of this large snake-like being coming for your throat. But it also is the other creature's turn. The one that was wearing Alyssa's face. Or is it Alyssa? You're still not quite sure.
Oh no.
And she's going to come up with a gun and point it at... Well, she's real mad at you, Howard.
It's fair.
And she's gonna try and bash you over the head with it. Which she will succeed at, as she just kind of takes this rifle or, shotgun that she's been carrying around by the barrel and just whack at you hard over the head. It's like, y'all always...
a cast iron skillet.
Pretty much. I mean, she has some skill at this.
Well, at least she didn't shoot me.
Yeah, that's true.
Shoot you. And you're going to take 7 damage.
Oh boy.
How does that put you at?
Let me find my HP. I am at 20.
Okay,
From
so
27 to 20.
Okay, so it's not less than half. We're fine. When you get, if a single attack takes you to half your health, you take the critical condition and the injured condition.
Was that from half of your max health?
No, yeah, it's half of your max health in a single attack.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
So you are wounded and injured, and it delays your reaction times and other things.
Right.
And that's a really interesting amount of damage. Well, no, I know exactly why that damage is like that. And then I believe we are up to... Nope.
Probably me.
Yep, you, Ribaldo.
All right. My instincts tell me that the last thing I want to do is go where this Mr. Bradford wants me to go. So I pull my revolver out of my holster and I aim right for him.
All right. Fire at him. Ooh, unfortunately, the bullet, you're trying to track him, and he's very slippery, kind of slithering around like a snake. And he's attacking aggressively at Mr. Howard, and you're trying not to hit Clayton, so you're trying to point, and the bullet just kind of ricochets off the side of the building. You see a couple of the Bradford boys begin to come in, and we're just going to use the same character sheet and let them all attack in the same manner. So none of them, unfortunately, are desiring to actually hit you. Well, shoot you, I should say. Because they have been given orders, Mr. Ribaldo, to take you alive. But you're shooting at their boss now, and they need to do something about that. So 1, 2, let's see, and 3.
It's not bad. Only one success.
Only one. That's the good news.
Only one success, and you're going to take 5 damage as the 3 of them have tried to kind of surround you and try and hit you, and this one guy manages to actually get a hold of you by the arm and just kind of throw you against the side of the building, this church, to try and get you inside the door, kind of knocking your shoulder out of alignment as he does so a little bit.
Okay.
And brings us, I believe, to Mr. Howard.
Yeah. See, the thing is, she hit me, but I don't want to attack her. So I'm going to go defensive, I think.
I mean, there is someone else who's also attacking you.
That's true. Well, yeah, that's true. I'm just going to back up. I'm just sort of keeping my eyes on them, and I think. Now, one thing, I did get the instruction just now to make an explosive. I probably don't have time to do that right now with this bottle, unless there's like a convenient...
I mean, one of you is holding matches and a candle, and you do have a bottle in your hand.
Where is the... is there a sort of a place where I can throw this where it would do more damage to them than to us? Perhaps.
Not effectively. I mean, like, the Bradford boys came in and circled you.
Yeah, I mean, if they're in a circle, I don't think this is the best opportunity unless, we just all want to go up in a glorious pyre together.
It's an option.
It is an option. I'm keeping it in mind.
Of glory.
So, yeah, I'm just basically just hitching it, and just sort of as I'm going to bring up my shotgun pointed at the other one that was attacking me. That the Bradford kid, and I'm just...
Mr. Bradford himself.
Oh, was he the one that came up at me?
Yeah, with the snake.
Oh, with the snake bite? And I'm just say...
It's fine.
And I just sort of look at... and bring him up and say... Not in front of my wife, Bradford.
I love it. Go for it.
I'm just going
It's
to
great.
try to use the shotgun.
Shipping. Who knew in a Cthulhu game that you'd be shipping? Prospector with the snake cultist.
Yeah, these things happen. Hopefully I entered this
Prospector and the
incorrectly.
rancher. That makes sense.
Let's see, he's right there, so hopefully this is correct. Here we go.
No, unfortunately, that's a fail.
Actually, I think I'm going to use luck on this, if I may.
You may spend 13 luck to make that work.
I will do that.
As the gun goes off loudly in your ear. It's almost too close as he's right up in front of you, and this is a little tight for you. You see, however, this bright shimmering green light kind of envelop him behind him and then almost shatter as you do manage to break his shield.
Oh, fucking shields. Okay.
But now we go back to the top of the round. Mr. Ashcroft.
Well, there's now a shotgun on the ground a little ways away. So I'm going to start making my way there as I turn around and start... What's the biggest target?
At this point, probably
Bradford.
oozing mass of things that looks like Howard's
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
wife. Or Ash, or Bradford.
Yeah, so we got 2 bigs, and we got some minions.
Mm-hmm.
I'll shoot the big snake thing.
Shoot the big snake thing.
Yeah.
Bradford, or well, they're both kind of okay.
One's a oozing mass. And it's Howard's wife.
I mean, it's a slither.
The other is a snake man who's.
You can't control who you fall in love with. That's all I'm saying.
There's too many goddamn snakes in this goddamn town.
And as I'm walking backwards, I'm gonna fan the hammer at him.
Okay. Yeah, he's within 10 feet. They're fine.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice.
Oh boy.
Roll one more.
Yep, roll one more. Ooh!
Nice.
Nicely done.
You fire these 3 bullets dead
We got a
into
sling shooter.
what you're assuming is his vital organs. I mean, he is a giant snake. There are legs and there are arms, but that's a snake, so you're not 100% sure if those organs go in the right place where you're thinking, but you fire as you
Just
go.
fire at this general area. You know,
Yeah.
torso, head.
Yeah, you're just firing center mass, try and hit, and you do hit, and you see begin to bleed this kind of green oozingness, and he's not happy with you at all.
I don't care. As I've actually moved away too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you have. All right. I believe it's then our dear friend, Mr. Williams.
Okay, so just to get a picture again, I went around to kind of get away from the group a little bit, but still where I
Yeah.
could see both the Bradford boys,
Yeah.
and the and Mr. Bradford,
Mhm.
and then in the middle are all my friends currently or compatriots in this horror. Let's see, and then the ooze is also on this right hand side here.
Yep. Assuming
Okay.
that everyone's kind of centered right here in front of the building, they're kind of brought in a semicircle around you. The Bradfords, so you're all within 10 feet of each other, and you slid over here, I'm assuming, to the far side of the church.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like going west to east.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna try to position myself to get like that perfect blast of getting the Bradford boys who are So the Bradford boys moved around.
3 of them are around. One of them's dead.
Okay.
3 of them are around Ribaldo, trying to get him inside the church.
Right. Okay. Is there a position I could take to try to take care of them with my shotgun?
Not
Like,
without
maybe-
hitting Ribaldo.
Dang it. I was thinking maybe I could get behind Ribaldo, stick my shotgun.
So kind of trying to, because they've got hands on him trying to force him inside.
Right.
So you're
I'm just gonna belly shot them all.
You're gonna belly shot them. All right. Well, let's try it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll
Alright.
definitely give you the first one. We'll see how the other 2 do as they get a dodge off of that.
All right. Success with
Nice.
18 damage.
Ooh, very nice. You drop one, shooting him dead center in the stomach as he begins to bleed out profusely from the arteries in his.
And just the stomach goo, just kind of.
You basically get all of him, and to a point that you were pretty sure you may have just kind of shot him in half. Very similar to things that you've seen before.
Oh, thanks for that imagery.
Yeah, I need you to roll that sanity check.
God damn it. I was gonna say, how does reloading work and everything like
Ooh,
that?
wait, track.
What?
Although
Is-
that's a great critical, I will give you the critical for for that sanity roll. I will not make you re-roll the sanity when you
I'm-
get a
I'm-
critical.
I'm using my iPad, so like I accidentally tapped a couple of things, possibly just scroll up.
No, you can't. Unfortunately, you can't fan the hammer with a shotgun.
Right. No, so but last time you said I needed to reload, so that like doesn't take an action to reload or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool. So I just reloaded, got things situated, and the shot.
It's why if you're within 10 feet, you can only make one fire. Around.
Got it. I got it. Okay. All right, cool. Well,
The reload is assumed in the action.
okay.
So yeah, you wipe that guy who had, we'll say it was it was Jake, and you really weren't
Never
liking
liked
him.
Jake.
You never liked Jake. You did actually have to throw him out of Lady Goodnight's and ban him from the premises when he got.
He tried to mess with one of my girls.
Yep, he got fresh with one of the girls, and Lady Goodnight herself was threatening to take something he would be much more, concerned with, and you just decked him and threw him out.
I say,
Did leave him a cut on his face for the trouble, though.
Jake, next time, make sure you do not mess with my girls.
Jake can't answer you. He's in two pieces.
In the next life.
Now, however, it is Bradford's turn, and he's tired of getting shot at, so he's going to turn to Mr. Ashcroft and say, "Put the damn gun down, boy. And I need you to make an opposed powers check."
Doesn't matter, it's empty.
Doesn't matter, he's giving you an order. And, well, you'll be his dear, dear friend.
Ooh. Oh. Nice.
No, I'm going to confuse him. I'm going to put the gun down and pick up the shotgun.
Oh,
That wasn't what I meant.
There's only one person who gives me orders. That's Armand Shaw of the Pinkerton Detectives.
He's an ass as well, I do recall. But you know what? He's gonna try and swipe at Howard at the same time.
Love Howard.
Still right up there with him.
Good old Clayton.
Oh.
ooh,
Oh.
ouch.
Yep. Now, you're gonna take that 6 damage, Clayton. And I need you to make me a con check.
I will do this thing.
And you need a hard or better.
Okay. So 6 damage. Puts me down to 14, and I shall now make a con check. Con.
Ooh.
Very
What?
lucky. You feel the poison in his claws start to seep into you, but it doesn't seem to take effect. There might be too much alcohol in your bloodstream for anything to overtake it. That or,
Poison.
other things are involved, and you just feel this slow start for a second as you kind of power through it and look back at him. He's raked you right across the chest. You do see, however, that now that you're engaged and it appears that you're going to be taken care of, this thing that's wearing your wife's face is going to turn and try and shoot at Mr. Williams, who's getting in the way of achieving her goal, which is they need to have a conversation with Mr. Ribaldo.
I'm right next to Mr. Rivaldo.
Yeah, I know, that's why she's got a revolver.
Oh, fuck.
You do get to dodge. You
Okay.
do get to dodge roll. So she has a success on a 42. So see if you can dodge that. Ooh,
Nope.
no. You're gonna take all 3 damage as she basically shoots you in the side.
Clips me.
Clips you. Is gonna pull you off target. Is definitely gonna have to take a minute if you want to do anything else to stop those Bradford boys from getting Ribaldo into the building. Next up, I do believe it is Mr. Ribaldo himself.
All right, how many of the Bradford boys are left in front of us?
2.
2. Okay, so I don't want to do that if there's 2. All right, and okay, whoever the closest one is to me, I'm gonna aim my revolver at that one.
Okay.
Because I want to do, and I want to do everything possible to stay away from the church building.
Luther's got his hands on you.
No, not Luther. He was always
All right.
so handsy at the Mrs. Goodnight's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Ooh.
I was gonna-
Yeah.
I was going to ask at point blank, does he get advantage?
No, at point blank he gets to fan the hammer though.
Okay, so I
At
can
least,
hit it
at
again.
least it didn't malfunction.
Yeah,
What,
it didn't
2 more
malfunction.
times?
You get 2 more shots.
time?
Good, okay. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Ooh.
But I made up for it.
the first 2 shots, you know, you're wrestling with him and you're wrestling with the gun, and you know, as the song goes, you both reach for the gun, and the first 2 times he manages to knock it out just off of alignment, and the third time you put it right up against him and fire into something soft you're pretty sure was important but not vital.
Mhm.
Well, depends who you asked.
Revolvers do how much damage? Holy crap. Got 10.
D6.
And... Is that?
6.
A d6.
Oh, really? Okay.
Actually, it says
No, a d8. No, a d10.
D10.
Yeah.
No,
That's what I was
yeah,
thinking.
it's a d10 plus your
D10
damage.
plus 2
Oh, I see.
for me.
Yeah.
So I just barely got the shot off.
You barely you point it. You're wrestling with the gun, and the gun ends up pointed at something soft and goes off. But it doesn't hit you, so you know obviously it must have hit him.
The classic scene: you're wrestling, you're both fighting over the gun.
Yeah,
It goes off, and you wait a second to see if you felt it or not. Then you see the reaction on the other person's face.
Yep.
Okay.
That Bradford. Now, unfortunately, it's the Bradford boys, and Luther is not a happy camper at that, and so he's gonna just
He's
try.
not too happy right now.
No, he's not. He's gonna try and hit you over the head. To knock you out and put you inside that church, which he manages to succeed, but you do get that dodge roll.
Okay. Whoops. Did I try that again? Oh, I got to put half of my dexes in there. Hang on, just a second. So, sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
Wait, half the dex goes on that too? Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, success. But it's not a hard success, so he will take the damage as he hits you over the head, but you're not incapacitated. You take half damage.
So I take 3. Okay,
3.
I wasn't sure if it was round up or round down. That's why I wanted to.
I like round numbers. 3.
Okay. All right.
All right. Then I believe it is our dear friend, Mr. Howard.
All right. So, who is still up at this point?
The being holding with your wife's face, Bradford, who's pissed, one of the Bradford boys, and a couple of your people.
All right. How closely engaged now? Have we? Is everyone's? Is Ribaldo still in?
Oh yeah, they're still grappling. You know.
I'm thinking of trying to. If we're all not too close, I'm thinking about trying to grab him and withdraw. If that's an option.
I mean, for you, you'd have to go around both Bradford. You'd have to go through Bradford and your wife to get to Ribaldo.
Okay. All right. So he's on the other side of them.
Possible. Yeah.
Is there? It was. Is Clarence with him, or am I imagining that?
Yeah, I'm right next to
Okay.
Baldo.
All right. So you're okay.
Yeah. I just got clipped somewhere on the side, but so your wife just shot me. Just saying.
So, being now that they're on the
wife.
opposite side, this might do it. Although it's they're like in the doorway to the church, aren't they?
Yep.
Or are they-
Basically.
All right. Yeah. I don't know again how well I can target this, but since it's like that, I think I am going to yeah. basically drop. I'm going to sort of backing up, try to drop the whiskey to the ground between or at sort of between the sort of between Alyssa and Bradford. Or
Okay.
in that sort of vicinity. Try to basically toss it down to make it smash, sort of, and throw a match while backing up.
Okay.
If that kind of thing will work.
Sure. Try it.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead see if we can for you not to get hit. Let's see. We're gonna have everybody roll a dex roll. I'm gonna say because you're right up close on top of it. It'll be and you're shooting at an inanimate object. You can have the shot, but you to avoid getting dead.
Yeah. So I'm trying to do it in a way that's not gonna immediately hit the others since they're on the other side. That's the only reason I'm trying this. Yeah.
Right now, I think it's just you, Bradford, and
Alyssa.
your wife.
Okay. All right. So this is you said a dex roll?
Just a straight dex roll.
All right, here we go.
And then Brad.
Does that everyone make dex roll?
No, it's just he's doing it specifically so you don't get hit.
Got it. Okay.
And well, you definitely succeed. Unfortunately, that very slithery, slimy Bradford gets out of the way as well. Your wife is going to take full damage. So roll me a d10.
All right.
No, roll me 2d10.
2d10? All right.
Well, the shotgun's 4d6 at close range. I'm going to say exploding glass and alcohol is going to be 2d10.
Okay. I'm sorry, honey. It had to be done. Oh, that's not too much.
No, it's not a lot of damage. She's a little singed. She's a little unhappy. She's now looking intently at you.
Just shake my head. I'm sorry. All best I can do for you is try to put you to rest. As I'm backing up.
Mr. Ashcroft, top of the round.
All right, I now have a shotgun in my possession, I do believe.
You do.
Catching on the music, sorry. All right, I'm pointing around the throat of Mr. Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend 5 points of luck.
Oh yeah.
Dodge, but yes. Where is it? Here we go.
That's a lovely dodge roll.
It is. It is a very lovely dodge roll. He is going to take damage, so roll that 2d6 because you're outside the 4d6 range. So 8. You see, you blow his tail off.
Aiming
that
at,
shot.
aiming at his throat and I blow his tail off.
Yeah, well, you know.
It happens
ducks.
sometimes.
He ducks, and all that's left is his tail. He is very bloody at this point, and very unhappy, and very much.
Is this Bradford?
Yeah, this is Bradford.
Oh fuck yeah. Oh Jesus. All right. Let's see.
So now I believe it is Mr. Williams.
Oh, it's me. Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, having been shot by by Mr. Howard's wife,
This slithing mass of maggots and blood and guts and mud that is wearing
Yeah.
his wife.
oh man. So okay. Howard is here, or Clayton is here.
Mhm.
His wife is like right next to him.
Oh, I backed up when I attempted to burn her alive.
Oh, okay. Wait. You used your. Sorry, I missed this. You used your the alcohol.
Yeah, I used the
Yeah.
alcohol.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
And she
I
failed
was-
the dex, but he only rolled 4 damage.
Gotcha. I was literally just going to run to you and be like, "Here's some matches." So somehow I missed that. I saw you did damage and I saw good things, but okay. I will go back to back with Mr. Rivaldo and like kind of position myself where my back can push, so that way if they try to force him towards the church, I'm kind of helping there. Take my shotgun and shoot at Mr. Bradford and say, "Today is not your day, sir." I'm gonna shoot him.
Today is always my day. I mean, had to be said. Sorry.
Yes!
All right.
That's a lot of damage. Alright, yeah, I don't know what distance he's at with
No,
me,
he would be still within the 4d6 range for you.
but heck
He
yeah.
just gets his dodge though.
Fail. Yes!
Oh no, I'll say that. Yeah, it's the wrong. It was the wrong fail, but I'll take the roll anyways. It wouldn't matter. He would still failed. Yep. And you shoot Bradford and just blow out the back of his skull as you see giant pieces of brain matter and green blood and hood falling. And I need you and Howard, Mr. Howard, to both make sanity checks
Oh shit.
Okay.
as you explode this.
I do have hardened. I don't know if that helps or not.
This is not a human.
Oh, okay.
Human is good. Hardened is really good against seeing undead human bodies. The giant snake people with green oozing blood and guts. Ooh, although extreme success is a good thing.
Nicely done.
Oh man, I was worried there. I'm 34 sanity.
Mr. Howard, however, fails and is going to take 3 sanity loss as this giant bloody green thing just kind of splatters across your face, and you have this overwhelming just urge to hurl because it's all over you, and you're just like, nope. And as Bradford's head explodes, the Bradford
Boys.
Luther, the Bradford boys who are still around, all collapse to the ground.
Yes! Oh, I was so hoping that was going to be the case. Oh man, it was a tough shot, but
But
Here's the problem. His wife is still moving.
and she's very unhappy with what you just did, and so she's going to shoot you.
Of course.
I just gotta make sure I get the right character sheet.
Williams is used to this. He pisses off a lot of wives and husbands.
I needed him alive, you foolish baby boy. And that's an
but only one
but only 1 damage.
Oh,
So take that 1 damage as she wings you again across the jaw, scratching
I'm
that.
too quick. I'm like,
Yeah, you know, she's gonna that bullet's just gonna scratch right across
he's
your
got
jaw.
moves.
Now you've got a nice, very stunning, stylish little scar right there for you.
even more handsome with scars.
Chicks dig scars.
Now it is Mr. Rivaldo, your turn. You are now free and not held because the people who were holding you are collapsed on the ground.
All right. So I see that they're down, but I see this thing that looks like that has the shape of supposedly this guy's wife, and she just shot at the guy who's been having my back all the way through this. So I will return the favor and return fire on her.
Cool. Go right ahead. Fire at her.
Ah! I can't hit crap.
Ooh, but luckily you didn't fumble. You only failed, and you just fire at her, and it just kind of goes off into the dark. You're still a little shaken and unsure of what's going on.
Having trouble figuring out the right spot to aim at on this phantasm.
Yeah. thing. Creepy, crawly thing. It is now, Mr. Howard, your wife is shooting at your friends.
Yeah, she does that. Is she still, does she still have any flames on her at all? Is she still dealing with that at all, or is that,
I
no
mean,
longer?
she's still, the alcohol is still flaming on
okay,
the ground.
on the ground. Okay, well, no, that's the, and is she close to that?
Yeah, within
Oh,
5.
God, no.
I'll say within it.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna I just sort of shake my head and just say, as I'm sort of as I've been digging in my in my bag, I just sort of look up. I said, you know, one thing you kind of got wrong about this whole thing. It tells me I don't think you're her, because really, she left us. And I'm going to take a stick out and lob it at her, or at the flames immediately adjacent to her, rather.
So this is a standard stick of dynamite. I want all of you to make dex checks.
Not dodge.
Dodge or dex, either one. If you have points in dodge, go ahead and take that dodge. If you have the dex, take the dex.
I'll go for dex.
I mean, my dex is higher though.
Yeah.
Oh, I would like to spend luck, if I may.
You may spend that 17 luck.
I would highly recommend it.
roll.
Now sounds like an excellent time to spend luck.
And she's gonna attempt to dodge out of the way. Wait, hold on. Gotta make sure I'm on the right character sheet, though. She's gonna attempt to dodge. And not work, because for some reason it didn't, so we'll just do it this way.
Oh
And
wow!
Oh,
We'll say
Lucky us.
horrible. And now I do believe. Go ahead and roll 2d12.
Righto.
13. You light her on fire and blow this creature that had your wife's face to bits as it explodes all over, and I need you to make a sanity check for that destruction and death and dismemberment that you just did on a being that you know wasn't her but still looked like her.
Nope.
Clayton's just getting hit hard.
You're going to take 4 damage from ending this being's life and destruction. And you're going to take only 5 of that damage from the explosion that you caused.
Okay, so 4 sanity and 5 hit point damage.
Mm-hmm.
What about the rest of us?
You all manage to succeed. I don't think anyone else failed. Yeah, no one else failed.
Succeeded.
Hey, he spent luck to succeed.
Oh, he spent luck to succeed? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he spent luck to succeed. Never mind. You're not taking any damage. Sorry. You're not taking any damage. My apologies. Thank you for reminding me.
That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
Try to run everything together collectively.
You're smoldering a little. There's a little bit of, exploded, burning, fleshy, oozing bugs kind of slowly oozing around you. But no, you don't take any damage. And as she explodes, you all seem to notice something else that happens. The sky suddenly brightens. There's a giant streak of green lightning. And all of the darkness that was in front of you, everything that was there, vanishes.
The town vanishes.
Everything. The darkness, the town, everything that you're seeing. And you're inside the church. and you're just sitting there on the pew. The other townsfolk are there. Other people in town are kind of looking around and kind of looking into themselves. Why were we here again? I know I heard the bells, but what? There's no preachers, there's no priests, there's no nothing. And I think that's where we'll put a pin in that one for today.
Oh man.
That
So-
was a close one.
We're gonna go around and we're gonna give like a little bit of an epilogue to see where y'all end up from this, say, right after the week or so. So why don't we start with, unfortunately, the gentleman who was hurt the hardest by this affair,
Both
dealing with his-
both physically and mentally.
both physically and mentally. Let's say, and why don't we start with Mr. Howard and see how things are going?
So I think Clayton, after this experience, and realizing that perhaps there were things that he was blaming himself too much for, but then also things that he has not done that he needs to do. After he kind of is sort of recovering and is still sort of, he ends up basically also in between times. He just can't seem to stop muttering in between talking at this point, just because of how traumatized he is at this whole thing.
Out of random curiosity, where did he end up on sanity?
He ended up with 20 sanity out of 35 to start with.
Okay.
Not too bad.
So he is not going to. He does not do his usual routine of re-upping his supplies to go out to mine for silver. Instead, he's going to. I think he's going to sell the mule, and he is going to head back. I would say probably to Arizona. I think because he has to make things up with his two adult children, Tom and Eleanor. There's been a lot that he could not do or felt he couldn't do after Alyssa died, and he wants to try to make up for what he can while there is still time left. So he leaves town.
Okay. Off to see his family and maybe to hopefully find a better way. Hopefully the road will soothe his troubled mind. Why don't we spin on over to the Mr. Great Ribaldo? How did he fare after this experience?
After having such a jolt with that vision of things that perhaps he had heard about from his mentor back when he was a kid traveling with the circus, but more realistic than he thought it could ever really be, he decides maybe I need to get back to doing what I do best. After getting some information from Mr. Howard on where he may have saw some gemstone or crystal-like structures going on in the areas where he wasn't able to find silver, or I gather as much as I can, as quickly as I can, and I head out to this city I've heard about called Los Angeles. And meet up with a traveling group for some new thing that they're talking about called Bodyville, and join in the tour there and do some of my sales for my magic trinkets as we go on our tours up and down the Pacific coast.
A little bit of fun getting away from everybody.
Yeah. Trying to make sure that making sure that I avoid anything close to a situation like this ever again.
Okay.
If I can.
Mr.
If
Ash?
I can.
Oh, that is the question. You're never sure if you can or not. The future is a dark and mysterious mistress, and she never reveals all her secrets. Mr. Ashcroft.
Mr. Brady actually live after the dream?
Mr. Bradford, you mean?
Yeah, no, the guy who threatened me with a gun in front of my house.
Oh, Silas Farley.
Yeah, did he live after the dream?
You never saw him again.
Nah, darn, I was gonna have him arrested. Well, this is where I stay. This is where telegrams come for me. My base of operation for whenever I need to go find people who rob the trains. So I stay here, do my usual routine, have a drink every now and again.
Always a good thing. Always a good thing.
Another day in the life of Ashcroft.
Yep.
Another day and another dollar. Mr. Williams.
Oh, and
How-
I make sure that I stay as far away from this Pinkerton man as much as possible.
After you learned I was a Pinkerton.
Exactly.
Always do that. That's a wise decision. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, because I think you're a snake oil salesman.
You know.
I am a master of the mystic arts. I don't sell snake oil. I wouldn't stoop.
You sell hope to the hopeless.
After this, maybe you do sell some snake oil, but it has mystical powers. Oh, man. So, Clarence Williams, he's probably in deep reflection after this experience, realizing that he's been hiding from things, and things that he saw on that battlefield way back when. And would probably, before the Great Ribaldo leaves, ask him if he has perhaps any books on the occult or on the strange things that he could read into. And he's always been a fan of reading, good Jules Verne or Edgar Allan Poe or some mini author out there writing some fantastic mystery.
I go through my library of the books that I carry with me at all times, and I give him an introductory primer into the mystic arts of Asia and Central Europe.
And I would say that with that, he doesn't spend much longer at the Lady Goodnight's. Instead, he takes up his camera, a new invention, or newer, that he's been practicing with for some time, and he decides to start investigating what that thing was, now that he's had a second appearance of something strange, something that he can't explain. So yeah, Clarence Williams would probably go on some other adventure soon.
Always fun. Always fun. But that's a story for a different day.
Indeed.
And a different dime store novel that you'll pick up. Maybe one day, right next to those novels of Butch and Sundance, or what was his name, Mr. White Up, or even those fine folk that they call themselves, what was it again? The Magnificent Seven.
Mm-hmm.
Or English Bob.
Him too.
Or the Untouchables.
That's a lot later.
I know. I'm making the Untouchables.
All right. So that's where we'll end this session of Go West for today. Thank you again, Jim, for hosting this. This is a pleasure to do.
Wow. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Dee, for coming and running that. That was great. I really appreciate it. I've been wanting to play Cthulhu again for a while, and this was having been a fan of Deadlands for quite a while, and the sort of mix of the horror and Western aspect. I've always wanted to do it a bit with Cthulhu as well, and I've only sort of touched around the edges for that in previous campaigns. So it's nice to get right into it, and so I love that very much. Well, thanks for playing, everybody. This time I'm going to go around the opposite way and ask folks to say any final thoughts about sort of what you thought of the game or favorite parts or what have you, and where folks can find you. So I believe I can't remember exactly who I ended with at the, the intro now. So we will start with we'll start with Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm Eddie. I've been playing some RPGs all over the place. Not really on the internet until recently, but you can find me on Twitter's most often as Ninja Sudo, SUDO. Actually, sometime soon I might be playing with Deidre here, another game. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's very secret. Very secret.
Do you have any final thoughts about this session?
Oh man. Well, I was kind of nervous the whole time. I was like, "Oh man, what's next? What's around that corner?" I mean, yeah. Glad we listened for those snakes in that saloon, because I was gearing for a drink after that first experience.
Quickly lost your thirst.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
My thirst for venom.
Whiskey's good. Venom ain't that great.
Another thing, I had no idea there were going to be snakes when I picked the break card for this session, so I was so pleased. So pleased there were snakes.
Oh my gosh. It was all snakes.
And we'll go over to Hawkeye.
All right, I'm Kentucky Hawkeye. I visit various streams and stuff like that. I do my own gaming. I'm just recently getting back into RPGs after a 30-year hiatus since my college days, where I did everything from Star Trek, the Klingon version, to Gamma World, to D&D, to Villains and Vigilantes, and James Bond and stuff like that. Then when after school was done and all that, married, kids and all that, kind of fell away. So getting back into it after discovering Critical Role and stuff like that, and actually started playing again for the first time at Gen Con this past August. So
nice.
That's
been
good.
enjoying getting slowly back in, hoping to find a place to get into a campaign with someone somewhere and such. I do other gaming actually on Twitch. Most of my gaming is as a guest streamer on the channel, the Adipose TV. It's a bunch of us Doctor Who fans. I do a Lego-based stream right now. We're wrapping up the Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Then we'll go into another Tuesday is our Kick a Brick Day and all that. So I've always enjoyed the Lego games because they're fun for kids and adults as well.
Yeah.
And on Wednesdays on the Adipose TV channel, I do my weekly Skyrim serial. Currently, I have a character named Eric Rosine, so I'm doing the adventures of Eric Rosine, who's more Nord than the Nords. And we're going through some different adventures there. Those are both both of those are Tuesday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. On Saturdays, when I'm not driving back down to Louisville to be with my lovely bride of 30 years, I do a stream with all of us people from that Twitch channel where a number of us created as WWE wrestlers, and we do posse wrestling. So I do that, and coming soon to my own channel, and I'm considering doing YouTube as well. For those of you who are fans of Critical Role, I'm going to be starting up a stream called Critical Holds, where I've taken the major players from both campaigns and a lot of the NPCs and the different monsters that they fought up against, stuff like that. And they are now in a WWE universe.
Oh my god!
So I have them divided into two shows right now. One is going to be Whitestone Wrestling, which will be for Campaign 1, Vox Machina, and the Winter Clothes Festival, which will be for the Mighty Nine campaign. And they'll be having their different title belts. And I also have wrestlers made for Matt Mercer and for Brian W. Foster, who are my lead rivalry right now. So I've had a lot of fun creating those different characters and all that. And if you go to my Instagram, which is I have the same thing for Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, KY Hawkeye, you can see illustrations of the wrestlers I've created if you're so curious. So otherwise, just doing that and hoping to find somewhere to get in with a campaign with someone, whether it's D&D. Cthulhu's looking a little bit more fun than I thought it was going to be. Of course, a few years back, I read This Present Darkness by Frank Peretti, so a little bit into the spiritual warfare aspect of stuff. And this kind of has a little bit of that kind of flavor to it. So I'm kind of enjoyed this a little bit more than I thought I might, which is a good thing. So we'll see what happens from there.
Cool. Did you have any final thoughts on this session today?
Oh, my favorite was probably either the confrontation and the vision, because I didn't know how long it was going to last and what it was going to actually reveal about my character that Prax knows that none of you else know about.
Yeah.
And the fact of having our good Mr. Williams here fighting back to back with me in front of the church and all, having someone literally at my back like that. Because one of my favorite verses is Ecclesiastes 4. We're talking about iron sharpens iron and stuff like that, and I felt we were definitely doing that throughout the story there. So those are my favorites.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming and playing with us, and we'll move on to Lord Conti.
Oh, this session was great. As Prax knows, I love Cthulhu. I love just that eldritch horror.
That's so good.
You know, I am the mad scientist of Grimjack's channel, creating beautiful horrors.
Yes. We have a lovely, lovely symbiotic relationship. He creates eldritch horrors. I try and keep the Olympians alive. It's a very one side or the other.
I kind of killed a character, then I made a character to save the character by killing the thing that killed the character. It's lovely time fuckery.
Mind bleepery at its best.
Oh yeah.
It's all what is the phrase? Wibbly wobbly,
Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey. Thank you.
I mean, if you want to experience truly wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey horror at its best, go watch Greg's Project Athena, Project Olympic, Kronos. All the Olympians. Go watch the Olympians and have a master class.
I'll have to catch
I can
that.
keep track of multiple timelines.
It's been. I don't know how he does it, but he's a master of description and writes those campaigns really well.
Yeah, but you can find me here on Twitch. I play video games every now and again. Sometimes I'm in charity games and RPGs. Sometimes I get drafted into RPG games like this, mostly one-shots, but I'd love to have a solid campaign one day.
Well, thanks very much for coming and playing with us. I liked your character. It was fun. It was really fun. And we're going to finally go to our glorious keeper, D, or Prax. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you for being willing to do this. This was a lot of fun. Lots of stories like this are stuck in my head. I'm D, or Praxagorth Thesmiophoria, as you find me out all over on Twitch, and or at Deirdre Donlin on Twitter, where I talk about D&D and classics because I'm that nerd. On Sundays, you can find me over on Soul Bear RPG, as I am suffering through a complicated life tragedy as a half-elf bard, and my family is, I love them, but they're complicated. Yes, someday soon, there are mystical things that we can't talk about, or we haven't been told that we could talk about yet, that Eddie and I are both doing, and you'll see me playing with Eddie again soon. Shh, spoilers. But yes. Yes, I'm glad you all had fun. This is one of my favorite stories to play with, and it was great fun to have you all play with it with me today.
Well, thank you. That was so cool. Thank you all for spending some of your New Year's Day with me here. This has been wonderful. I think I will say that I got to say my favorite part, even though it's perhaps a little bit self-serving of me, is to say was just being confronted, coming face to face with Alyssa. Just right then, it's just like, oh crap. That was beautiful. No, that was beautiful. I love it.
Yes,
when...
give me those knives with which to stab you.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I go in for the full stabbery. When if there's an opportunity for me to give the GM something to hurt me with, I will definitely give that to them. So that was awesome. I really liked that. But as for me, I am Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch and Twitter. This is my channel. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube, and all that. Tonight, I'm going to be playing in the finale of Off the Table's game of Urban Shadows. I have no idea how long my character will survive, but I'm very excited to see what happens. Then this coming Thursday evening, back on this channel, we'll be live with the 25th episode of the Cyphercast, which is a podcast I produce all about the Cypher system and Monty Cook games. On Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings, I play video games. Every other Saturday, we play The Cold Ruins of Last Life, which is getting ready to come back soon. Within, I think, a couple of weeks, we'll have the next episode. On Sunday, for our first one-shot of 2019, I'm going to be hosting a game of Dawn of Worlds, which is a game where the players are essentially deities shaping a fantasy world and populating it with different races. So that should be a lot of fun. When we go to the end card, I am going to initiate a raid on Scraticus, since it looks like they've got some stuff going on over there.
Yeah, he's back on the
I think they're playing Paranoia. So you definitely want to go check that out. So we'll do that after the end card. So stick around to see that if you so desire. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New